When footsteps fall in eldritch hollows, and spectres flee into the shadows, that is the time when horror's heroes abound, culling the ghouls that go bump in the night.
Hello everybody and welcome to Shanth Enjeti Art. My name is Shanth Enjeti and that's 8 bells and all is well because you guys are here. So from the heart of Lovecraft country in the birthplace of American religious liberty and underneath the beautiful heavens that just gained another angel in the form of Mark Music Obsession's mom, may she rest in peace. Our condolences to you in the chat, brother. We are here to paint, talk about artwork, and lift spirits. That's what we're going to be doing today. So thank you guys for being here. I want to say hello to all of my channel members. So guys, let's do this thing. I've missed you. I just uploaded a new From the Heart of Lovecraft Country video from a walk I took the other day. And let us see who is here. Mike Likes Tacos is in the house. I see you, brother. I'm going to get to you in just 1 second. I've got John here in the house. It is good to see you, John. I have Mark's Music Obsession. God bless you, my friend. It is great to see you here. You are old guard now, my friend. You are old guard. That's how I view it. And it's great to have you here. We have new channel member, Lord Hinson, Comic Skater. It is great to see you, my friend. I hope you are doing well. Welcome and good morning. Maromi is here, another OG. It's great to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well today. And let me see, who else have I got? Mike Likes Tacos. It's great to see you. And, of course, hello to everybody watching on X. Welcome, welcome. I hope you are having a fine Saturday early morning, depending on where you are, or afternoon, if you're in my neck of the woods. We're going to do some painting today. We're going to do some, what we always do, random conversations and artwork, and we're just going to enjoy each other's company, because God knows it's always a good thing to do as we head in to this new year, and as we are in the aftermath of the holidays this time. It's great to be able to spend time with you guys. And it's great to be able to talk comics and art. I have so much stuff going on. It's craziness. Oh my gosh. And we've got, of course, got to celebrate 15 months. Has it been 15 months, Mark? Has it been 15 months already? I knew you were OG. Mark's Music Obsession celebrating 15 months of membership by saying thank you for the thoughts and prayers, everyone. Mark, I don't want to speak for the chat, but I feel I can. It is our pleasure. And I am so glad that we could be live streaming. You know, I always fire up a live stream. I never know, you know, what all is going on in the world. Things are crazy and things like that. But every time I do fire up a live stream, I find that there's some reason, it seems, for doing it. And so today, that's what we're doing it for, man. Mark, we're here to lift your spirits and to keep you company and make some artwork. So let's do that thing. And God bless you. I've got to get you some cheerleaders in the house because that is how we roll. So celebrating his 15 months, Mark's Music Obsession. Here you go, my friend.
Charge! Charge!
Yes, indeed, guys. We're ready to rock and roll. So I have been, and thank you again, Mark, for your membership and for your support. So I've been working on Nosfero because I've got those 2 paintings I have to do for the prints. In order to get that started, the books are more or less laid out, the art edition and the oxidized edition. The link for those is in the description. And one of the things, and I'm going to see if I can get a good angle on this. God help me. But one of the things that's been so cool and so fun about doing this kind of stuff and being able to show you guys is trying to adjust the color. You see that? One of the things that's so fun about doing this stuff is sharing with you guys that process of creating this world. And one of the things that's been a huge influence for me on Nosfero the Crypt Walker and a lot of the art style I do is, of course, that early Disney feature animated look of movies like Snow White and even movies like Fantasia. And so when I was thinking about creating this look inside of the netherworld that I'm creating right here, oh my God, I'm going to bump into the camera all day today. deep inside the netherworld here, one of the things that I found myself thinking is I want to create that energy of, from Fantasia, the original Fantasia, that had the Chernobog in it, and had that, that great sort of wings opening and everything like that, but it's got to work in a Lovecraft environment. So that's what I've been working on right now, is you can see me kind of putting that stuff together. And I'll see if I can get you guys the best angle possible on this while I work. I think you guys can see it all right. Look at the detail in this thing. It's nuts. But in addition to working on all of that stuff, I've also been working on Spring Ball nonstop, guys. I have not... I mean, my kids are home, so I've definitely been spending time with them and trying to keep pace with all of the craziness going on in our neck of the woods. And the thing that's been sort of crazy is I did get to a point where I had to say, okay, buddy, you gotta take a break. You gotta just take some time off. You gotta go for a walk. And the missus encouraged me to take a day. I think it was it last Saturday? I can't remember anymore what day it was. But she's been encouraging me to just take a little bit of time off every now and again, which is so important. And I'd encourage all of you guys to do it. Yes, Black Cauldron is another stunner. Yeah, beautiful animation. Yes, the ball has sprung, guys. Hey, what's up, Emo Trash? How you doing? Popping in for a few minutes. Bonsoir. Bonsoir to you, my friend. Let's see here. Yep, absolutely right, man. That's how you do it. That's how it goes, And so, yeah, as I was working on all this stuff and I was working on Spring Ball, the thing that is fascinating about working on a project that you did when you were in your 20s, for heaven's sake, is I've realized how much, how do I word this? How much I've learned and how much I didn't realize. Oh God, see, I can't even get the words out right now. When I was looking at Spring Ball, there are things that I change now that are so easy for me to do, or things that I fix with this, painting mentality I'm approaching it with. And it just is like, why didn't I do this before? And the answer is because I didn't know how to do it. And that is a really powerful thing for any of us, right? Every single step of the way when we're doing our work or whatever it is we're doing, we gain experience, and oftentimes we gain experience by, the mistakes, by the things that we, what is it? Experience is what you get when you don't get what you were trying for. And yet at the same time, it's frustrating in the moment, but I get to see how far I've come on that project. And it's the same thing with Nosfero Book 1. When I'm looking at Nosfero Death Will Die, I see so much potential. And I'm able to seize it more readily because I know who these characters are and I know what they're about, See here, Shanth, are you just remastering the art or working on... Oh, the script, big time, Lord Henson. Let me tell you, the script is... And how do I put it? It is not... By no means is it the art that is the primary thing, although it is. I'm making sure the artwork is... stunning, but it was the story was the biggest thing, because I was attempting to talk about things and do certain things in that story, and I really had not figured out how I want to write and what kind of stories I want to tell. So I had themes, or not themes, but I had subject matter I wanted to tackle. I had all this stuff in there, but it's night and day difference. It's night and day difference because it's just, again, these are the great things that come with experience, right? These are the things that come with experience. We all kind of, we gain a lot of different things, but one of the biggest things we gain is appreciation. And, it's just, I write characters differently now. People talk differently now because I was a 20-something-year-old kid. And that is, Lord Henson, let me tell you, 100% on the script. I hope I've overstated that sufficiently, because that's a huge part of it. What's up, Cranberry Landers, OG channel member? It is great to see you, my friend. Happy Saturday to you. I hope you're having a great one, my friend. So yes, 1,000 times yes, because, oh God, I want to spoil the whole story for you guys. So let's talk about just the story stuff in general and writing in general in terms of how I do it. the way that I write, or the way that I write and the way that I structure things, I could never have probably been a writer back in the days when people would write longhand or when people had to use a typewriter, because I like to move things around. I like to shift things. I have a very painterly approach to it. And when I was doing Springball, I was so hung up on doing hand lettering on it, which I'm technically doing now in Photoshop and doing all these different things. And every interlocking piece was limiting because of how I was thinking about it. And that's not to mention that just, your voice and your experience with things matures with age. And so when I got to the point where I was working on Springball today, and I was re-looking at the character, he's now a fully formed character for our time that we're in right now. He's a fully formed character because everything about him now makes sense. There are elements of his origin story that were created and arrived at for this telling of him, and it's just going to be great. What's up, Venom Bite? It's good to see you. How are you doing? And welcome. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. Yeah, experiences change you 100%, and I think with Springball, with Nosfero, with all of these characters, I think the early stage that you have as an artist or whatever you're doing is it's a necessary phase of kind of emulation and trying to figure out, like, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? But I didn't have a true understanding of who my favorite writers were and what was my favorite quality about the writers that I liked. And that's a major factor for doing this stuff. I mean, if you look at everything that's going on in this painting, right? It's all interlocking, but it's very easy for me to do this now because of, the experience I have, but it's experience in 1,000 things that makes this possible, that makes all this work possible. And, with Springball, gosh, I just want to share so much stuff with you guys. I'm going to kick myself. But there were moments where I was trying to figure out how to draw something, and I thought that, I'll give you a really good example. When you're creating a town, right? When you're creating a town and you're creating a city for a superhero to be in, a lot of times you have this default setting for Metropolis, this default setting for maybe Gotham City, although I think that's kind of too specific, and a default setting for New York would be the big one, right, when you're doing comic books. And it never dawned on me how much freedom you have when you're creating stuff to put your characters in environments that where you can picture them walking around, and then interesting scenarios just play themselves out, like, naturally. And a lot of times, this is the problem with being young and being influenced too much by people and not having developed your own skill and your own objective, ability, which is to say the ability to draw and paint the things you imagine in your head without first pausing to think, how would so-and-so draw or paint this, right? Like, that's the trick, because then you're limited only by things you can imagine them doing or that they've done before. Well, Springball was very much like that. And so it's now I kind of sit back and the story just makes so much more sense, because I couldn't imagine how to do a story that is what Springball is, or what it's inspired by, which is Evil Dead meets Spider-Man. It sounds like a great concept, but you've got to be able to play as an artist visually in order to pull that off. And I just didn't know how to do that. And just the way in which there's oh god, I just want to tell you guys the whole story for everything I'm working on. It's awful. This is why I struggle with story pitches whenever I'm on a stream and someone goes, all right, pitch your story real quick. I just want to tell everybody the entire story, because to me that's that's what I'm excited about. So yeah, don't do what I do. Don't do what I do. Do something else. Do something better. You know what I mean? Let's see. Shanth, are you doing multiple reimaginings of Springball? Is that a character study? So yeah, it's wild. So Springball is, oh man, see, you guys are gonna get me to do whatever. So it is one version of Springball, and that's why I'm telling you guys, if you have not, I know a lot of you guys already have, if you have not picked up the first two Spring Ball issues, which I know a lot of you guys have, do it because it's going to be so entertaining for you to see what seeds were there at the beginning and what things are completely different and completely new. It's an artifact. The shortcomings of the first issues of Spring Ball are fairly self-evident. Things just happened, and while things are always just going to happen in a story on some level, there's got to be, but people talk about inciting incidents and all that sort of stuff. But things didn't tie together because I was just seeing these sections of story that I wanted to work with, and everything has been sort of. I see the story that goes there with those images, if that makes sense. And how can I not give this away? It's crazy. Just do allegory, Shanth. Yeah, exactly. That's the key. Yeah, John says, you've got to learn your elevator pitching, yes, and always know your spoilers. Yes, that's right. That's right. Oh, I know, Shanth. What character trait from the first Spring Ball did you like the most? Here's the thing I did like about Spring Ball. Oh gosh, let me see if I can think about it. Here's the thing I liked about Spring Ball. Spring Ball was envisioned as a positive character. He was also envisioned as a positive character who would actively play a role in the helping and the rescuing of a kid in trouble, and that was sort of one of his core things about him as a character. But what I didn't understand is why I was always very good, and this sort of comes from my career working as a concept artist. I was always very strong at character design, and I would lecture on character design. I created a character design theory even, and I lectured on that at MIT, Microsoft Games, Wellesley. I also taught studio courses on that, Rhode Island School of Design, all sorts of things, right? So that was a big factor. But it never dawned on me exactly like the best reason for his suit, which is explained in issue 2, but it's now a totally different explanation. The reason for why his suit looks the way it is. And every story that I write there's what the world throws at you, right? There's how you come into this world. Nosfero is a prime example of this. You come into this world and you have a particular natural innate abilities. Then you go through trials. You go through difficult things. Heartbreak. Sometimes you get wonderful things. You get wisdom. You get knowledge. You get guidance and mentorship. And the most difficult thing in the world is to look at those experiences not with regret, not with depression, not with sadness, but to celebrate those things and realize, wow, I'm not the person who had those things happen to me. I'm the person who survived those things. I'm the person who is there to... Those things have given me an example of how strong I am. And sometimes we forget that, and that's the quality that I have just turbocharged in Spring Ball and is a huge part of Nosfero. I have not seen it yet, but Razor Fist is singing its praises, so I'm excited to see it. I was on the fence. Lord Hinson, Comics Gator says, my number 1 is in the mail hunting, the elusive number 2. Looking forward to checking them out and backing the new version. Yeah. Lord Hinson, I can't tell you how different it's going to be. I'm still missing the issue number 2 myself, says Mark. Oh, don't worry. We're going to find a way to get you that, Mark. It's a crazy thing because it's the quote that always gets me, one of the most powerful quotes in literature, and someone's going to get it for me in the chat because I can't remember it exactly, is from one of the greatest books of all time, which is The Count of Monte Cristo. And it's that quote, which is, what would my life have been? Who would I have been had I not faced this hardship? Had I not been imprisoned? And it's something to the effect of, from that chaos came lightning, from the lightning came electricity, from the electricity came illumination. And I just thought, my God, whatever the actual quote is, it's a brilliant quote, and all of my characters are not they don't reflect their adversity that they've experienced. The characters that I create are empowered, emboldened, strengthened by their character that's been revealed. Their character is revealed through what they do. And I think life does reveal your character, how you face things. And you don't always have to face them the same way, by the way. So your character needn't be something that's carved in stone because you did something and maybe you're not terribly proud of it, or, you know, you had shortcomings when you were a kid. It's important to sort of get past those things and sort of realize you're the person who has had those experiences, and you're the person who can make different choices, better choices, and help people. And that is so important. You know, that's everything for me. You know, sometimes I think it's common and it's easy to kind of ruminate on things we wish we could have done better, or those kinds of things. But rumination and perseveration are not vehicles for understanding and vehicles for improvement. They're vehicles for stasis. And I think that Springball as a character is about motion. He's about energy. He's about this kind of propulsive quality. And it's a propulsive quality, or it's a kinetic quality, but he's kinetic of spirit, not just kinetic of body. And that's what's important. So when something is negative is thrown his way, he can amplify it back, but with positivity. And that's kind of how he works. And that's the joy of the character for me when I think about it. Simply Green says, there are times I've bemoaned, why me? Still realizing, oh my God, my glasses fell. Still realizing I would not be who I am without those moments. They pulled a similar line in Wolverine and Deadpool, and it worked. Yes, because this is the wild thing about it, right? I look at my past increasingly almost like Jenga bricks. And I think to myself, what thing would I pull out that was significant, negative, positive, whatever it is, that wouldn't alter this time we have right now with each other? It might threaten everything I've done, creating Nosfero, our relationship, me being alive, any number of things. And that's not what you want to have, and that's not what you want to do. And I think that what's that quote? I'm going to apologize. I have to blow my nose, guys. I've got so many allergies right now. Sorry for doing that on stream. Wish I could figure out a better way. But one of the things about it for me is that when I look at, I am grateful for so much every single day. I wake up and I'm just so grateful. Bordeaux, what's up? How you doing? Hail, good to see you, my friend. And howdy. But I wake up every day very grateful for all the stuff going on. And I look at this. Amen. You want to know something, Lord Hinson Comic Skater? You're going to love this. The young man who was the class president at my kid's high school graduation said that quote. And I remember thinking, what a great quote to have said at your kid's high school graduation. What a great young man, which is, of course, hard times make strong men make easy times make soft men make hard times. Absolutely right. Yeah. And that's something I think about a lot. And so the biggest thing I want you guys to see, those of you guys who have get the Springball early issues, is that was the first time I used Photoshop for any kind of project. I was learning Photoshop on that. I was attempting to be a writer, an artist, a colorist, an editor, all of those things for the first time. And without Springball, there would be no Nosfero. Without Springball, there would be none of the knowledge I have in Photoshop and all the digital stuff that started on that project. But I was taking on so much. And I used to look back on it, guys, but this is a perfect example of what we're talking about. I would look back on it with so much regret. I would look at the project for everything it wasn't. Now I look back on it and I go, I was a maniac. This crazy young kid was trying to figure out how to do everything because he couldn't find, a means of getting this thing out there. I would show stuff. I would try to get in. It was sort of my last ditch, effort to get stuff out in comics. But God has other plans. And what is so crazy about it is it's like it was preparing me for Nosfero. It was preparing me for Comicsgate. That just blows my mind. Thank you so much, BR. It is great to see you. How are you doing, BR Hacker? Welcome and hail. And hail to my brother Timmy Mello in the chat, channel member. It is great to see you, my friend. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. And I want you to imagine looking at something when you're, 48, which I am now, and that you did when you were in your 20s, and just going, which I encourage all of you guys to do more, even if it's just to laugh at stuff sometimes. Like, I laugh at the silliness of things I did, or, the kind of naive bravery. I look at Springball now and I go, this guy loved comics so much, this kid, and he had a vision, and he just didn't have the skill set. He had the drive, he had everything, but the timing wasn't right. And the timing is right now, and thank God. Thank God I get to do Nosfero, which you guys can back in the link down below. We're almost at 200 backers, I think. And thank you guys for that. But, I mean, that's what Springball's about for me. But it's not a nostalgia trip. I'm making it a story. I'm making it a story now. Grey Wolf, what's up, my friend? How are you doing? And it would drive my friends, channel member, by the way. It would drive my friends crazy. My friends like Rocky and all those guys, because they go, you got to go back to Springball. And I was like, no, man, it's all I can see with it are regrets, and I need to leave it, and I need to, never do anything with it. And then I just realized, that they were giving me some valuable outside perspective on myself. And that's what friends are, man. That's what makes friends just so invaluable. And that's what makes what we do here in these streams so invaluable, is that sometimes your friends can say something to you. God bless them. Have the patience to say something to you 1,000 times. And then you realize, you're like, oh, I get it this time. This time when you said it, the right things were there, and I get it. And it's almost like I got Springball for the first time because of their patience and their repetition of saying, take a look at it. But it's going to be a completely different experience for you guys looking at it. There's a mystery that is going on in the background of, there's this stuff going on. Why is it going on? Then it's tied to a more personal thing. We're trying to rescue a character, and that Springball has a personal relationship with. He's concerned about this kid that he fears might be in severe peril, which she is. And then there's, yes, 3 billionth time is the charm, is what all of my friends and my wife definitely think when it comes to talking to me, But it's give me some ones in the chat if any of you guys have seen Dances with Wolves. Has anybody in the chat seen the movie Dances with Wolves? It's one of my favorite movies, directed by Kevin Costner. If you haven't seen it and you haven't spent time with it in a while, by God, do. It's food for the soul. It's food for the soul. I'm seeing some ones in the chat. Cool, I got two ones in the chat. One of my favorite characters in that movie, which a lot of people, I don't know if it surprised you. I mean, you guys know me pretty well. But there's a character in that called Wind in His Hair. And Wind in His Hair has always got this standoff relationship with Kevin Costner. And then Kevin Costner is going to marry an orphaned white woman who was raised from childhood by the tribe. And Wind in His Hair looks at Kevin Costner, and he's getting him dressed for his wedding day, almost in the role of the best man. So from chief adversary to brother, how often has that happened? And he's getting him ready for the wedding. And he says, the man who she was married to, who died before she met you, was my best friend. It has been hard for me to like you. But now I think he went away because you were coming. That's how I see it. And he leaves. And it's like he's saying to the guy, it was so tough losing that friend. But that shift of my world on its axis opened a doorway to a new friend and a new relationship. And God, it was bitter. God, it was bitter to lose my friend. But sometimes out of that pain, that difficulty, new bonds are forged that just reveal new horizons. And I've always loved that scene. I love that scene like crazy. It's just a great scene, And it was because it's about a guy who struggles with his feeling angry sometimes. Yes, indeed, I know, absolutely right. Yeah, and it's how do you do that? Like, how do you embrace the new while having reverence? Yeah, Timmy Mello's right, 100%. Yeah, that's a powerful dynamic. When one person leaves, another one comes through. The cycle of life and acquaintances and friends. Yeah, exactly. And I was very conscious of trying to both be protective and supportive when my mother-in-law, who I'm very close to, after my dear father-in-law, Lewis, passed, when she decided that she wanted to date again, to try to meet somebody. And I wanted her to know that any protective feelings I had towards her were not being clouded or obscured by my need to keep her in stasis, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because it's hard enough to grieve the loss of your husband and the guilt and all of those things that come with it. It's one of those things to where we guilt is a normal thing. Everybody's going to feel guilt. It's not always justified. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's just a thing that happens. It's just one of those stages of grief. It's whatever you want to call it. But it's nowhere to live. And sometimes you have to externalize it. And I know she had a lot of anxiety of what we thought about her doing that. Was it a betrayal or was it any of that stuff? And I remember we had lots of conversations, her and I, because we're close. And I said, it's okay. It's okay. And it's just that I knew I could just sort of sense the importance of that time because she's been so supportive of me. You know what I'm saying? Bordeaux is saying, oh crap, let me click on this here. Shanth, oh geez, thank you. Wow, sometimes you guys hit me with things that just knock me over. Shanth, you remind me of Joseph Campbell in a way, looking for the connections between things. It's cool. Thank you so much. Joseph Campbell was definitely a formative influence on me, no doubt about it. Yeah, the Power of Myth was big. I remember when I went to Skywalker Ranch the first time with my brother Rocky, funny enough, who you guys know. A lot of you guys are subscribed to his channel. And we were walking around Skywalker Ranch, and it was in kids were born, so it was 2005, I think it was, or 2006 maybe. 2006. And so we were walking around Skywalker Ranch in 2006, and it had, the prequels had just finished, and it was very much like the Skywalker Ranch that you would see in The Power of Myth with Joseph Campbell. And we walked up, we were walking around, and I recognized all the footage of Joseph Campbell walking around with Bill Moyers from The Power of Myth. And I said to my buddy as we were walking up the porch of Rocky, as we were walking up the porch of Skywalker Ranch, I was like, this is where Joseph Campbell was. And my mind was just blown. It was incredible, man. It was incredible. And I love it. But it's... there's this legacy when it comes to comics, when it comes to H.P. Lovecraft, when it comes to anything that I'm doing, that I always try to be a little bit aware of, if not a lot aware of. And so I don't have to dislike, characters from, my childhood or comic book characters from, the mainstream or whatever to do what I do, because to do what I do, it has to kind of justify itself. It has to, let me see if I can angle this a little bit better. There we go. To do what I do, Springball has to be good. It doesn't need anything else to be bad for it to be good. Nosfero has to be an honest exploration. It's not something that's done in spite of something else, because work can be great on its own merits, you know, and I think that's just such an important thing for me when I'm creating, is I don't spend a lot of time, you know, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about, gosh, what do I spend time thinking about? I spend a lot of time thinking about great works of fiction and how fortunate I am to have them as examples in front of me. I guess that's a big thing I do, and it feeds what I do. Let's see here. There are big works, history things that have happened in the course of my life. That's right, that have blown my mind when it occurred to me. Yes, exactly. Yeah, thank you, Cranberry. You're right. Yeah, because my wife and I have debates about this, me not having an internal monologue and what that means, and without which I wouldn't be here being able to paint, draw, and talk to you guys. Yeah, we have a lot of discussions about that. There have been people I met who just refuse to believe that's the case, and I just go, look, if it wasn't me, I don't know if I could fully understand it. But I spend a lot of time sitting around thinking about stuff. I was doing dishes this morning, and I was thinking about Michael Mann, the director Michael Mann, who did the movie Heat, Last of the Mohicans, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, and really is a huge influence on Nosfero. Whenever I'm writing Nosfero in my head or I'm painting it, I'm always thinking about the soundtrack to Last of the Mohicans, which is one of my favorite movies. But I was just thinking about all of the great work that Michael Mann did, and I'm just doing the dishes, you know? And it's on my mind. I mean, shoot. I wonder if I have it near me. Oh, my house is a mess, guys. My office is a mess. Yep. Last of the Mohicans, the definitive cut, Michael Mann. Never far. Yes. Amen, Timmy Mello. You know it's true. Mine never shuts off. Well, I wonder why the overlays are so small. I gotta make these bigger. It's weird. The type is very small when you guys show up on screen. It's making it heck for me to read them. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I think about art, or I think about creativity, and I try not to see, again, it's weird because I say things sometimes that I think are in the language of an internal monologue. So I've been editing what I say in the sense of rewriting it so I can actually say what my experience is like. I spend a lot of time thinking about things I'm grateful for. A lot of things. I spend a lot of time thinking about media, wondering how things work, thinking about story, thinking about art and paintings and color and people I should call or touch base with. There's just a lot of that in me. And I do a lot of things while that's happening that I'm sure are incredibly confusing to people. Incredibly confusing to people. Who don't know me and they're trying to figure out what I'm doing. Like, why are you doing this? Oh my gosh. There's a guy who I stream with sometimes that you guys probably know, named Cecil. I don't know if any of you guys know Cecil. Cecil, I've been watching Cecil since I've kind of come into the space in Comicsgate and everything like that. And we've been on streams and it's been fun. We've had a good time, but I did 2 intro videos for Cecil in probably the last year, in 2024, just for fun, just because, like, one, he was just having a tough go of it, and I thought one would lift his spirits up, and then he started a new show, and I was like, oh, I know what I could do for that. I could do like an X-Files thing or something like that, and I just created a video. Now, in my mind, that all came out of the fact that I was watching a stream or I was watching a show, and then a picture appeared in my head, and I did it. But to the person, I sometimes wonder if they're going like, why did you do this? For me, it was almost like my brain, made me think of something, and I had to carry it through to its logical conclusion. It's really strange. Oh, Lordy. That's right. As long as you're green, you're growing. As soon as you're ripe, you start to rot. Ray Kroc, amen, amen, and amen. So yeah, I'll see those things. Like, there's a lot of things I'll look at and I'll forget I did them. When it comes to artwork, like my mother-in-law, God love her, owns all my wildlife paintings because she likes my wildlife paintings, and I said, you know what, you can have them because she's sweet. and we're very close. And so they're in her new house. And she was taking us on a tour of her new house. Look at this desk and what a state it's in. Hey, Michael, how are you doing, man? I loved that Waffle House Russell Brand thing you shared with me on X. I've been thinking about that like crazy. It just gave me so many fond memories. But so all the nature paintings that you've seen me do of birds and things like that, she owns them all. And she was walking through her house and she was showing those paintings on the wall. And I just thought, I said, oh my God, I've forgotten how many of these I've done. You have them all. And if they're kind of out of sight, out of mind. And it was sort of like Spring Ball in that way. It was just really like out of sight, out of mind, you know? And it's like, oh, let me see if I can do this. Come on, you're here. You guys are here. We're hanging out. It's a Saturday. It's been a minute, you know. We've been working so hard. I'm sure all of us, and we've all been in the wars, and we've all got a lot of stuff going on, you know. Let me see what I can find here. I'll show you guys a little bit of the painting aspect of what I do. The digital painting aspect of what I do. And to me, it's all the same. You know, it's all the same thing. I'll give you a little preview. Would you like a preview? All right, let's see what we can do here. Where is it? I think it's this one. Is it this one? Yeesh. That doesn't bode well. Okay, I think it's starting to do something. If my computer starts moving at the speed of stop, apologies. It happens. It absolutely happens. So let me do file. Let's do source. Let's do overlays. New screen share overlay. Well, okay. Nice. So now I've got a screen share overlay, and now I got to figure out how to do this. Screen aspect, entire screen. Let's do Adobe Photoshop. There we go. So now I've just got Photoshop. Now I just got to scale this bad boy. So let me go here. We go to... God, I'm old as dirt. Overlays. Okay, so that screen share is up, and I got to move it down. That one's there. That one's there. Okay, I think I did something. Here we go. Let's see what this does. Okay, yeah, that's totally not going to fit right as much as I want to, but you get the idea. So this is something, this is one of the things I'm working on right now for Spring Ball, right? And this shows you how I work. I don't do an outline and then fill it in. I'm actually just painting. So this is the Spring Ball stuff that you guys can see me doing when I'm working. So like that's the process for me of doing Spring Ball. And the fun thing about it is that, yeah, the script and all that stuff is changing. Everything's evolving. But I'm reworking these buildings. I'm reworking the flow so people can see how things work. And I'm even reworking the poses, the backgrounds, the architecture. I'm building some architecture back there. You can see the line work. And really going in and going psycho on this detail. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We have a new Crypt Walker in the house. Welcome, welcome. I hope I can pronounce your name well. Let me, hold on. Now I got to come back here. 1 second, guys. I'm moving at the speed of stop again. Let me hide this and let me welcome our new channel member here. So we've got a new channel member. Is it Zuligan? Is that how I'm supposed to pronounce it? Zuligan, like hooligan? I'm not sure. Just became a member. Welcome. I've got to add you to the credits. And here's some cheerleaders for you. Welcome aboard.
Charge! Charge!
Welcome, 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 my friend. It is great to have you with us. I'll be adding your name to the credits very soon. Wow, you guys are always fun. I never know what's going to happen on a Saturday with you guys. You guys are great, but it is great to see you here, Zuligan, and I hope you are doing well on this fine morning. So, yeah, so going back to just some of the stuff I'm doing with Spring Ball, it's always tricky. I don't know how to... I've got to get a better system here. Where did it go? Is it... There's the razor. There's that. There's that. Is it this one? Nope. Is it... Huh. Did I delete it? I hope I didn't do that. Let me go and see if I can do a Command Z and see if that works. Nope. Interessante. I'm going to have to figure out what I did there. Oh, wait. Maybe it's here. Let me try this scene. Shot this. Huh. It's not there. Oh, this is so annoying. Well, anyway, it was working once. Okay, let's see if I can figure this out. So here's the main. Here's this. Oh, there it is. Okay, I do have it. Here it is. Okay, there we are. Guys, I'm telling you what, this boomer thing, it's getting out of control. So here you guys can get a look at what I'm doing. Now, when you get this book, this is a completely... I mean, yeah, there are some things that are similar, some things that are the same. But this is a complete reworking of what I'm doing on this. It's a complete reworking of this character. And everything is just painted, and then I just go in and I ink it and I clean up. It's not really even inking. It's just I do fine brush work. So that's the thing that's been really fun about Springball is he's just coming to life. He's never been so alive as a character, you know, and it's, I love working on him, and I love, you know, kind of getting to see him be, you know, reborn as a character, you know, and just kind of come alive and become everything that he was always sort of meant to be. And it's the joy that I feel, you know, as I'm like getting the gesture down and I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. I love this pose. It's going to be so cool. Oh, that's coming together, and that's where this is going to happen. And oh man, here he comes. It's going to be so cool. All this stuff is fun, and it just requires me to do things like rework paint in backgrounds, all of that stuff. But I work the reverse. I don't know. You can imagine why Springball was such a difficult thing for me to do the first time around. It's because I'm a painter. I didn't know that back then because I was terrified of painting. But the reason why it's been so difficult is because I want to do the colors, the values, the colors, sketch everything in, and then I want to do the lines last. I don't understand how to do the lines and then do the colors afterwards. It doesn't make any sense for me. So yeah, so that is what I have been, that's what I've been working on, guys. That's the craziness of it all. So yeah, and Springball and Nosfero are so, I don't know how to describe it. They're so similar in certain ways. Let me see if I can find something too as well. I just love hanging out with you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday, guys. Back Nosfero the Crypt Walker. The link is in the description. It is a beautiful, beautiful book, 8.5 by 11, glossy stock, heavy paper, and a beautiful positive story. You're gonna love it. So I'm gonna see if I can find some other cool stuff to show you guys because, yeah, I blame Henson for this one, man. He got me talking about it and thinking about it, so now I'm excited. And truth be told, it's not that difficult to get me pumped up and excited about comics because you guys being here is just outstanding. Let's see if I can find a page that I'm really digging. Like, I want to show you guys the scribbles, you know what I mean? I want to show you guys where, you know, stuff gets nuts. And, oh, well, here's an interesting page. Here's one that's kind of interesting. Because I realized I could paint, and that was something I wanted to play around with, I did have coconut spiders in the house. That's right, baby. That's right. So one of the things I did was I realized I could do some of the stuff with this particular character where I showed this kind of frog dissection, and I could paint it. You know, I could really paint that thing in, and I could show the reaction of this character and do this combination of ink lines and lighting and blending and stuff like that just for certain things. I don't know if you guys remember, what's it called? Got so many messages here. I don't know if you guys remember the whole, what's the thing called? The Ren and Stimpy. Do you guys remember that? How in Ren and Stimpy and in certain cartoons, even in the Max Fleischer Superman, they would go to a close-up of a creature or a detail, and they would just go, oh man, I cannot wait to get you all your stuff, Mark. You have no idea, man. I was thinking about it this morning. I was thinking about it yesterday. It's going to be so awesome, you know? Yeah, the grotesque view. You've got it, yes. And just playing around with like what I can do now with reflections. And it's trying to bring the best of all those worlds together. And that's the stuff that is just is so exciting for me, you know? And it's like there was this there's this page I was working on, and boy, you can tell my my allergies are taking their taking their toll on my voice. I'm sorry, guys. But where is it? It's the page you guys all know. And it was one that John was talking to me about early on, because he was talking to me about the importance of water. God, where the heck is it? Of water towers and all that kind of thing. But I was really wanting to just get some of the energy in there. Where the heck is it? Oh, is that it right there? Yep, here it is. And I really realized that it was my first chance to show these characters. It's a little bit like Nosfero, right? It's a little bit like you get this cover image and it's like, this is, oh gosh, guys. So many things. When we haven't talked for a while, I feel like we've got to catch up. Apologies, but it has to be said. Can we take a second to celebrate my favorite piece of Nosfero fan art? I want to almost call it its own category, family art. The Nosfero crocheted figure by my daughter. This is what my daughter gave me for Christmas this year. Little Miss E, as she is known, Little Miss E crocheted me a Nosfero for Christmas. And I freaking love it. It's like, I mean, my God, man. That just blew my mind. Isn't that outstanding? I'm looking at this going like, where do you get this talent, man? She's just, I can't understand knitting or crochet or any of that stuff. But holy cow, isn't that amazing? My mind was just blown, guys. It was just blown by that. Let me catch up with the chat here. David D giving thumbs up. Yep, I know Cranberry Land is crazy. Yeah, she's super talented. She gets it all from her mom, I'm telling you right now. All right, take care, Ebo. Have a great rest of the day. Let me see here. But yes, absolute insanity. Yes, that's right. I love it. It just is. It was so cool. Thank you, Lord Henson. Yeah. Yeah, Timmy, thank you, man. It's so cool. Thank you, John. I saw that and I just went, wow, how cool is that? Like, that would just never cross my mind, you know, and I just even do something like that. So this character is sitting on Godzilla back there. He's riding Godzilla. And but when I was introducing Nosfero and I was trying to, like, exactly, that's my next stretch goal. That should totally be my next stretch goal. When I was working on Nosfero, I was thinking about, okay, there's certain pages that are going to be important. You know, like you've got your credits page, and I want to make sure people get a look at Nosfero. And then I want to introduce him, and I want to give, you know, a sense of scope, you know, because this is a fully painted comic. I want to make sure people can kind of see him, but also see the world unfolding. And so, yeah, there were all these different aspects to it. But when it came to Spring Ball, it was very similar back in the day. But I was thinking in terms of Image Comics, Todd McFarlane's, you know, Torment with Spider-Man. I was like, I need a killer double-page spread, totally in that vein. And so that was my moment where I showed Spring Ball for the first time. And so it's the same, you know, even though it's different, it's very similar, you know, for how you put this stuff together. And Spring Ball is a Shanth Enjeti art, character, copywritten, trademark, and it's something that's happening in this space. And I couldn't be more proud of it, because I thought, I've got Nosfero, I've got Spring Ball, and I feel as though it's so hard to do all these things yourself, guys. I am a one-man team, you know, like I'm coloring it, lettering it, doing all of that kind of stuff. On this one, thank God Eric Weathers helps me with Nosfero. It was like my favorite part of the job is having someone else be able to help me with it. But think of all of the cool stuff that we get to do and the crazy stuff we get to do. And this character, I think, is going to be really fun for a lot of people who've kind of missed this type of comic. Very excited about it, guys. Very excited about all of it. Could there be a Spring Ball? Well, here's the funny thing. I don't think there could ever be a Nosfero Spring Ball crossover. What I will say is there are elements of what I do, which is basically what I call super horror comics, superhero comics with a horror angle on them. This is very much in that vein. It's got a little Lovecraft twist, but it's a street level Lovecraft. It's not Call of Cthulhu, it's not Shadow over Innsmouth, or even the Dunwich Horror. It's much more Evil Dead. So it's much more like a Sam Raimi, right? Which is a perfect fit because Sam Raimi's done both superheroes and Lovecraft. So yeah, if there's a vibe to this book, or there's a vibe to it, it's definitely in some of the works of Sam Raimi too, which is kind of crazy. And I'm so excited. Blackjack, hail! How are you doing, Blackjack? Great to see you, my friend. And it's just, yeah, this is all the stuff that's possible. So when you guys try to imagine my desk, imagine this computer that I'm on right now. I'm working on Springball. And then I turn over here and I start, looking over at my desk, and I'm like, okay, now it's time. I got to work on Nosfero right now. I'm working on this. And it all sort of works together. It's this little crazy layer that I like to invite you guys into when you come into this space, that you guys are a part of it. You get to watch the whole process of creating all these worlds, and you guys fund it. It's fan funded. This is crowd-funded comic books. This is Comicsgate. This is what we've been doing. And I'm so grateful for all those guys. I look back on this past year, and so many things I would not have thought. When I say I wouldn't have thought they would happen, it's because why on earth would they? They were things I didn't even know existed. But it's just there's so many people I'm just grateful to, and just friendships more than anything, and just getting to meet people. And whatever the year has been for you, I hope it's been filled with those things. But I also hope that this next year is filled with it. If it hasn't been previously, I hope it is filled with it now. And I hope it's filled with it going forward. And I hope this is a space you can enjoy coming into, and this channel is. So subscribe, hit that like button, do whatever you got to do, whatever you can do. It all helps. Let's see here. Timmy Mello says their worlds look way too different. Yeah, for a crossover, unless there's an unspeakable interdimensional Eldritch. Yeah, they can't cross over because they're just very much two different worlds. Very much two different worlds. What are you painting today, my man Lloyd Burton? I'm painting this, and then once I'm off stream, I'm working on your painting, my friend. So this is going to be one of the prints for the art edition. And so, oh my gosh, guys, I'm going to play a cheerleader so I can blow my nose. I'm sorry, my nose is just like completely stopped up from allergies. So here's some cheerleaders while I do that.
Charge! Charge!
Oh my gosh, my wife is trying to get the dust out of the house, and she's doing some cleaning because she's like, my allergies have gotten so bad I can barely breathe, guys. It's crazy. What is up, A Silent Spirit? Good to see you. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm working on this, and this is going to be one of the prints. This is going to be the print for the art edition. This is the cover of Nosfero Death Will Die. Let me zoom out. I love doing this. I'm so glad Razor Fist liked Nosferatu, because I've been very concerned about whether it's going to... I just don't want it to be horrible. That's the best way I could put it. I just don't want it to be an awful movie, because I really love gothic adventure horror and as a theme in comics, and it's just to see that kind of revitalization. Just going to give you guys a little bit of a gross look at my desk so you can see how it all comes together. But I am so excited that he liked it, because I'm really psyched to make this stuff, this world, really cool. And I think that I think Timmy Mello is absolutely right. Evil Dead works really great in that small space. That's what Springball is. It's Steve Ditko meets H.P. Lovecraft, maybe. And Steve Ditko's world is very much his own playful... It's a comic book world. Nosfero is a comic book as well, but it's a much more of an illustrative, gothic kind of style. And it's not meant to be... there's different physics for the world, which is what makes it so different. So yeah, this is the thing I'm working on, and it's so much fun, man. It's so much fun. And Lloyd, it always puts me in a good mood when I see you, Lloyd. Hail, it's great to see you, brother. Yeah, Sean's next task, learn where the mute cough button is. I know, I need help in every way. In every way. Yeah, so that's what's so fun to be about it, is just getting to explore and expand all this stuff, you know? Yeah, it's crazy. I can't breathe right now. It's so annoying. Let me see here. All right. Let's see what I'm doing next. And so, yeah, I mean, Death Will Die is going to be a really fun... Sorry for that, guys. Death Will Die is going to be a really fun, cool adventure story, but it's just going to have that more epic cinematic quality to it that you guys, have seen with the first book of Nosfero. And this one's even dialing it up further. Like, this one's even crazier. Yeah, breathing, who needs it? I'm with you, John. Certainly not me. Certainly not me. Art T-Bear's in the house, my man. Art T-Bear, Black and White. Drop that link for Black and White in the chat, my friend. It is great to see you, brother. How are you doing? Merry Christmas, my friend. I hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year coming up, brother. And hopefully we'll be on a stream. Hopefully we'll be on a stream together soon. I'm going to try to do Kings this week. Things have been crazy because the kids are home from college. But how's everybody in your house? How are you guys doing? I know it was a tough wrap up on 2024. I have been definitely thinking about you and your family a lot. And I was very sorry to hear about your loss and your friend, by the way. So always thinking about you, brother. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. That's right. Hail Peep says, Edwin Acevedo, it is great to see you, my friend. How are you doing? Let's see. Michael is here. Michael Dicha, it's great to see you. I saw a screening of the original Nosferatu. Very cool, with an organist. That's crazy, man. I saw a live accompany with it too. Oh my gosh. Thank you, sir. God bless you. God bless you. I appreciate you very much. Yeah, I loved seeing it with a live band. It's with a live orchestration. It's so cool. It's so cool. I can't stop yelling, says RT Bear. I feel like we should cut to Steve Carell, right, in Anchorman going, loud noises. I love RT Bear, man. Drop the link for Black and White in the chat, man. If you guys have not backed RT Bear's everything, is that safe to say, Art? Can I say that? If people have not backed RT Bear's everything, do it. I mean, for me, there's this one aspect of buying comics and buying art books, which Oodles of Doodles is amazing as well, guys. Where, and it's similar with boxing for me, it's about vicarious mastery. There's the joy of looking at somebody who really knows their craft and what they're doing, and you get to experience it through them. And Art T-Bear is one of those guys where when I look at his ink work and his line work, it reminds me of what I love about when I was, at Gaijin Studios, and I was kind of interning there and shadowing those guys. When Carl Story would talk about inking, and when Adam Hughes would be talking about, Kevin Nolan's, inking style and all of that kind of stuff. And for me, to see Art working on his own stuff, I love when Art inks other people. It's always beautiful, of course. But, there's something about Art doing his own stuff right now, which he's been doing for a while, obviously. But to see him doing sequentials and all that stuff, man, it's like wind in my sails. I freaking love it. RT Bear is saying, you got it! Here is the link right here, guys, to Black and White on Indiegogo, Sins of the Father. Back it now. And by the way, I want all of you guys in the chat to say, you got it, because you got that book backed. But seriously, guys, Art is, it's crazy is that there's a universal language for artists that when you meet somebody who, spends the time that we spend hunched over the board doing this stuff, you don't share that with a lot of people. And you're fortunate to find new friends and new colleagues that you can just sort of, just enjoy the fact that you're in this very, niche, specific, highly complicated craft, and share it. And I know Art's also a musician. He's a drummer as well. It's one of those things, you just have different conversations. You know it, man. I remember when I was writing the stuff for Oodles and Doodles and other stuff too, it was the same thing, man. It's like the words just come. It's like the fact that, I don't know, it's just all the stuff that you do and all the work that you do is something I really do appreciate, And while we're on that subject, guys, let's remind everybody about Art's amazing skill. And I don't know if you can still get this book, but let's take a moment to celebrate Art T-Bear.
Art T-Bear's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too is a 60-page, 9x12 hardbound book that will be printed on thick glossy stock paper and is a compilation of artwork from award-winning artist, Art T-Bear. This book is filled with images that come from Art's Marvel, DC, Image, and Comicsgate work. That includes convention doodles, commissions, creator-owned IPs, and pop culture subjects that Art has brought to life with his masterful draftsmanship. Art T-Bear's signature style is both lyrical and meticulously realized. The mastery of craft, seen in his work, owes itself to his 40 years in the comic industry, as well as viewing life through his own love of the art form itself. Fans of art prints have the opportunity to back one or both of the mini print tiers. Both are stunning collections of work that you can back individually or together as a bundle. Art T-Bear's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too. Back it now on Indiegogo.
So there's an overview of Art's exceptional work. And let me say this too. That Jubilee piece that you did, that portrait with the grays behind it, has to be one of my favorite things that you've done. And I want to say something, Art, because I got some shiitake mushrooms for this. Okay? I got some shiitake mushrooms for this. People questioned my application. When someone comes at a college professor with that, you know, I'm going to take it seriously. My use of the word lyrical, which was spot on, for God's sake. And yes, you can still get Oodles of Doodles right there, guys. So there it is. It is available. There is the link. But lyrical is the perfect word, because when you see that Jubilee piece, eyes are very tricky to bring to life with ink. And Art does it incredibly well. And those gray tones, those gray tones where you're reminded that it's ink is pigment and that there's a fluidity to it. That's the stuff that is so exciting. Holy cow, we are one backer away from 16K. Back now. If somebody does it, if somebody puts us over that in the chat, let me know. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's all in the eyes, baby. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, see, this is what it is, man. This is what it is. We get to hang out, we get to talk movies, we get to talk comics, we get to talk all this stuff, and we get to laugh our brains out, you know? And it's mastery is something that just, it comes with time. And I love that. You know, I love the fact that I'm around so many people who've spent so much time mastering their craft and understanding just what goes into it and the appreciation for what goes into it. And you know what's funny too is you can have as big of an understanding of a craft there is, and you can have all these incredible artists get together and assemble. But if there is not a fan base that appreciates craft and skill, which is one of my favorite things about Comicsgate, is the appreciation that you guys have for skill, that it's not all the same to you, that you don't just go, well, I don't care what's in those pages, but that you guys are connoisseurs of quality, because a lot of you guys have been are connoisseurs of quality across the board. You know, I mean, that's the crazy thing about it. It's that's just the coolest thing in the world. And it's a very humbling thing, because for so long, both the audience and the artists for that audience were not able to connect with each other as we can right now on YouTube and as we can on X and everywhere else that we've got stuff happening. And what's even cooler to me is that across different, you know, time zones in certain cases, in different states and all around the world, for God's sake, that I've been able to meet artists and meet people and be able to talk shop with people that region and where we're actually located would have limited at any other time. And during our own lifetimes, it limited it. And so there's something happening here. And I think 2025 is going to be a massive year. I don't know what that means, but for pop culture and everything else, you know what I mean? And it's a crazy thing, because it's like, yeah, Sometimes it feels like somebody else, and I don't doubt it, somebody else is writing the story, and it's a blessing every single day. Oh, Art, thank you, man. Your work, Shanth, is original. You are truly one of a kind. Thank you. God bless you, sir. God bless you, Art. You're the man. Yeah, it's been fun getting to know you, man, and it's like I can't tell you. It's a weird thing to be doing a frame by frame animation of somebody with a fish in their mouth, swimming with bears, for an intro and going, we'll get to know each other later. Hopefully he digs this. It was so funny. I agree. CG is going to kill it in 2025. 100%. 100%. I agree. Yeah, it's there's so many cool projects coming, and there's so much cool stuff happening, and I feel like everybody's just, I don't know, everybody's just energized, and people are ready for a new positivity, a new 80s, a new, cool stuff being created, whether it was Mirage, Studios doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Dave Stevens doing The Rocketeer, the Brothers Hernandez doing Love and Rockets. Do you know what I mean? It's this sense of just what's possible. Amen, says John to Art T-Bear, as we all should. Yeah, 100%. Hail, Spaceman! It's great to see you, my friend. How are you doing? It's true, right? It's what's been really interesting to learn about my friends and colleagues and fellow creators in this space is just how wide and diverse our interests are in this space, and people, like, I was watching a stream the other day. Past Master Dan, my man in the house, it is great to see you. Thank you so much for dropping the link for Nosfero. I appreciate it, brother. Saying hello to Art T-Bear in the house. Indeed. It's great to see all of you guys here. Thank you so much. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit that like if you haven't yet. Apparently it does something, and that something is good. Let me see here. But yeah, I mean, it's I was watching a stream, and Ethan was talking about watching Ab Fab, which my wife introduced me to in college. Absolutely Fabulous, which is this absolutely bizarre and hilarious UK show, and I was like going, what are the chances, and just all the various things that you learn that people are interested in, what independent comics they're interested in, what inkers, what European artists they're interested in. It's crazy, man. I knew people like Larry Niobe, did I pronounce that correctly, were out there, but to hear someone proudly proclaim to be a part of blacklisting CG was something. Yeah, these are the opponents CG is facing. Yeah, it's a weird thing. Mighty Geek Studios, what's up, my man? It's great to see you. Manga publishers have always been able to connect with readers through their reader surveys. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a crazy thing, because I think that there's this natural sort of organic quality to what we're doing here in Comicsgate, and I think it also has to do with the fact that the more experience you gain, it takes a lot of experience, and it takes a lot of work to be able to balance all the things you have to balance when you're in CG. And I understand it's intimidating, and I do think that I know it's intimidating to me. And I think sometimes there's something nice about giving yourself the chance to, slowly kind of figure out what you're doing there. Because, again, in 2001 and 2002, when I was doing Spring Ball and I was in my 20s, I didn't know everything I needed to know to do this stuff, but it was a part of the journey that got me here, and it's, you can learn a lot just by sort of sitting back and watching and learning right now in a way that you never could before. And I like to think that someone's checking out this stuff and saying, hey, I might try to use some gouache. I might try to do that. And who knows where it's going. They're picking up Nosfero and saying, hey, I'd like to do a painted comic. That's where it starts, man. That's where it starts. It started like that with me. Question, is there anything you do to preserve the paintings after publishing? My best. My paintings hold up pretty well. The colors stay pretty true and everything like that. But yeah, my wife says your fans would be buying your originals out of principle if they saw sometimes the way that you store them. And I'm fairly careful with it's not that bad. It used to be worse. But I mean, I just have stacks of of paintings everywhere now. I have so many paintings going on right now. It's ridiculous. I trip over paintings in this office. It's so bad. I started working on a Nosfero painting the other day on canvas just to sketch. I was somewhere where I needed to do a demo for some people. And I was like, I haven't done hand lettering in a while. I got to do some of that. You know, and it just started to happen. You know, it was like, actually, I'll hold it up so you guys get a better look at it. But it just started to come together, and it's constant work, man. It's constant work. You know, it's like we work like crazy. You know, we just that's the funny thing about it is that I said like I said to my wife, I said, how did I ever do spring ball when I was a kid? Like, I must have been out of my mind. And she goes, you were working 24 hours a day on it. Just like you work 24 hours a day now. Nothing has changed. You know? Let's see. Not to say you have to go through CG. Anyone can do. Yeah, of course, can do what we're doing here. Have before CG was a thing and will after. Absolutely right. Billy Tucci's a really good example of that whole independence thing. Yeah, stacks equals auction. I know. I may just sell them on my site. I gotta make sure I do that. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's but obviously some people feel threatened by CG. Yeah, people feel threatened, I swear, by it, just about everything. It's just so strange. Thus, it cannot be allowed to exist. Yeah, it's a weird one. Jim Cox, my man. I didn't recognize that, Jim Cox. I didn't recognize that. That's awesome. What the heck is that? And CG feels threatened by some people, or they wouldn't lie and gay op at the top. Uh-oh. Jim, what is that? I consider myself more of a power bottom, Jim Cox. What is that? What is that? I feel like that's very cool. Admiral's here to laugh. Welcome, Admiral. It's good to see you, my friend. Is it? Is it really? Whoa. Sorry, I'm zooming in on YouTube. What the heck? Wow. That is really cool. Dang. It's weird when you guys change your profile pic stuff. You know, it's like I'm always like, oh, I have to go look at that. Holy cow. Hey, what's up, Mike Wilson Art? How are you doing, my friend? It is great to see you. Oh my god, I'm missing everything. Hold on, I gotta refresh this page because it got all screwed up. Pause. Alright, there we go. Okay, now I'm back on track, I think now. There we go. It is great to see all of you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see. Michael is saying, hail to everybody. Hail to everybody. Yeah, you know, it's the thing for me is when I'm working and when I'm putting all this stuff together, and when it comes to Comicsgate, I think the biggest thing for me about Comicsgate has been I had the chance to try to break into comics and even self-publishing comics in the early 2000s. And it's one of those things that when I did the crowdfund, the first 2 art books, it was without Comicsgate and all that stuff. And it's really like for me, the thing about it is that I can't even imagine doing what I'm doing now without Comicsgate. I can't imagine doing any of this stuff without those guys, without your boy Zach and John and Ethan building the audience that is here and everything like that. And if there are people, you know, who, you know, anybody who has a problem with that or doesn't like, you know, that's their business, but that's, you know, and anybody's business who wants to do it. It's do what you got to do. But for me, those guys are why I'm here, and those guys have done so much, you know, to help me and be positive about this stuff. You know, I just can't go there. I just can't get there. Like, and I understand some people are, but you know, as long as people are cool with, that's where I stand with things in terms of those guys. You know, it is what it is. But I don't really do a lot of thinking about other stuff, because there's the stuff I like and there's the stuff that I admire, and so much of that stuff is based around skill set and ability and what people can do. Like, there are nuances of pen and brush. All right, take care, Cranberry Lancers. Take care, my friend. Let me see. Shoot, God, it's just jumping. All right, Cranberry Lancers, have a wonderful day. And I did want to say something. it's too, because I think this is important, right? This is I just want to say something too. A channel member and a friend of this channel, and I don't know if he's even still here right now, but Mark's Music Obsession. I wanted to make sure I said this for those of you guys who know Mark. You might know him from other chats. His mother passed away on Christmas Day, and it was quite a blow to Mark. And I'm sure, and I wanted to let him know if he's still around, and for any of you guys coming in who might not have heard, if you see Mark around, just tell him you're thinking of him. And her birthday was on Christmas Eve. She got to spend some time with the grandkids and everything like that. But it's a rough thing, and we've had a little bit of some tough news over the break, and we're nothing on that magnitude. Let me be super clear about that. But yeah, just be keeping Mark in your thoughts. I know he's in mine, but I found that out just when I started the stream, and yeah, we love that guy, and he's been around here. He's been a big supporter of Nosfero and the stuff I'm doing, and just he's a terrific guy, and somebody who's always like a bright spark of sunshine. And when he said he had a tough week, I had no idea how tough he meant. So it was it was a lot. So prayers up for Mark's Music Obsession, and Mark, I'm here. I'll be every time I'm streaming. You come in here, you hang out, we'll paint, we'll do what we do, and we'll make it better. But it's with Art T-Bear was just in here, and it's we're just talking about this kind of stuff. For me, when it comes to comics and it comes to stuff I want to do, particularly after there he is. There's my man, Mark. See, just sitting back, cool man. Sitting back, enjoy it. See if you can get yourself a country fried steak with some white sawmill gravy from Texas Roadhouse, man. Do whatever you got to do. It's yeah, we love you, buddy. That's all I can say, man. We love you. And but it's one of those things to where when I'm looking at how do I word this? Okay. So one of the things that's a big inspiration for me are I'm never going to be able to find these books without starting an avalanche. I don't think you could really have way too many books, but I do have too many books. But for me, when it comes to doing the work I do, when it comes to approaching this stuff, I need inspiration, and I need certain levels of skill set, and I need certain things like that. And I tend to just sort of deep dive into work. And I think the thing that I am been the most grateful for in 2024 is to be able to kind of have those conversations and see things. And oh yeah, Texas Roadhouse, guys, I haven't been. They've opened them up here, and I can get a chicken fried steak for the first time in forever near where I live. I've got to do that over break, David D. I've got to do that over break. But it's crazy because yeah, and not chicken fried chicken. Yeah, that's right, chicken fried steak. But for me, it's like I was listening to the cinematographer who's working on Nosferatu, or worked on Nosferatu, that movie that just came out, the version that just came out, and he was talking about lenses that he's using. He was going into lenses and film stocks, and Jim, I know, you know what I'm talking about, man. Oh God, let me just say this, because this is a big, if we can talk about gravy for a second. There was a restaurant that opened up that was in a shopping center up in Essex, Massachusetts, so right around Salem, Mass area. And they opened a new Southern cuisine kind of restaurant, like neo-Southern cuisine, and they had a chicken fried steak and white gravy, and that white gravy tasted like Elmer's glue. It tasted like Elmer's glue, Jim. And it was utterly tasteless. I don't think butter was even a part of the conversation in the making of that stuff. It was gross. It really felt like eating paste. And I it was such a disappointing thing. Utterly sorry. I don't know why I made me laugh. I don't know. No butter. There was no butter. There was no butter. And it just crushed me, because when you're living somewhere that's not where you grew up food-wise, it's something that's really hard to quantify. It's like if you grow up in the South and you live in the South, you can get the old standards. But I'm a terrible cook. And so it's like I can't make this stuff. And it's just, it's awful. It's just awful. So yeah, that was my experience. It was like some of the restaurants that claim to be Mexican restaurants up here before we got good ones was horrible. How do you make gravy that bland? Let me tell you something. They should write a cookbook. How not to cook. Need someone from the proper, South for that country gravy. You're absolutely right. Oh my God, easy guys. Calm down. It's a Saturday. Oh my Lord. People are PO'd in the chat, as Rocky would say. Oh dear, you guys are so sweet. Oh Lordy. Well, listen, folks. Listen, you folks. That sounded worse than I meant for it to sound. Oh my gosh. Let me talk to you guys. Let me talk to you guys about some art and talk to you guys about some exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff. So, I've been getting ready with Spring Ball. I've been getting ready and putting Spring Ball together and working on the story and seeing where that's going to go. But if you're late coming to the stream, and if you haven't seen it yet, I want to share it because a bunch of new people came in. This right here is the best thing that I've ever received as a present. My daughter, Little Miss E, crocheted me a Nosfero. And that Nosfero crochet, she made the pattern herself. And I freaking was bowled over. I was like, I could not believe that. I mean, so excited, so cool to get this. It was one of the best things I got. You know, it's like I was over the moon. But the two things I've been looking at right now, and the two things I'm working on, is I've been deep diving into stuff for Forget What You've Been Taught About. And I've been deep diving and doing research on that. And then I've been trying to figure out or lay out the full arc of Death Will Die. Spring Ball is sorted. I know what I'm going to do in that book. Because I know what Spring Ball's is the comic. Those 3 issues are going to be a story arc called Terminal Monstrosity. I know what the meaning of Terminal Monstrosity is. But when it comes to, okay guys, let's, if you do me the solid. Do me the solid. Let's all chill. Let's all take it easy in the chat. You guys are too funny. But we can relax. And we can just enjoy some artwork. And if anybody's, confused in terms of where I stand on that stuff, right? I consider Ethan a friend. He's helped me tremendously. And I don't ever try to control what my friends do or say, but that's just where I'm at. Same thing goes for John. Same thing goes for Shane. And like it's just one of those things to where I understand like all this stuff that goes on outside of there, where people get into arguments and disagreements with people and things like that. But what I try to do whenever I'm doing these streams is I'm trying to make some artwork and try to make a space for you guys to come in and have a good time. And I know, that all of that sort of stuff is going to go on. But it's like, and if you guys want to say stuff or do whatever, you can. But it's just, I think we're here. Let's make some artwork. You know what I mean? Let's make some artwork. There's enough stuff in the world. I mean, I think I was just mentioning something before. And Happy New Year's to you, Awesome One. Welcome, Awesome One. I just saw you come in. But yeah, there's other stuff going on in the world for right now for me. But you know how it goes. So enjoy yourselves. Let's make some artwork. Let's do what we do. And let's get to work because we got things to do. So here's the big thing I learned over break from a really cool YouTube channel called Townsend's. I've talked about it before, but they have a channel that's based on 18th century living. And the thing that I did not know is that Washington Irving, who's one of my favorite American writers and one of the most brilliant people that we've probably ever had on this planet, as far as his observation of things, went over to the UK and did some studying and started researching British Christmas traditions. And the thing that gets me about that was that he wrote this book on some of the things he was observing, or he wrote some anecdotes about the things he was observing about Christmas traditions, and Townsend's was talking about it. And they told me something about Washington Irving that I did not know, and also about the history of how Christmas is celebrated, that one of the people who read Washington Irving's book on Christmas and the various Christmas traditions is a guy by the name of, see if you guys can get this one, Charles Dickens. So Charles Dickens reads Washington Irving's thoughts on Christmas, and he gets the idea to write A Christmas Carol. And I just sat there and went, are you kidding me? So not only did this guy do The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, not only did he do all of that stuff, but he went in and he also influenced A Christmas Carol, which is one of my favorite books of all time. It's a work of pure genius. It gets it all done, and it leaves. I watched, the first thing I did on Christmas Eve morning was I watched oh my gosh, who's the actor? Patton. I always forget his name. Patton. Who's the actor? Shoot. Oh, this is going to drive me absolutely crazy. Can someone in the chat let me know who's the... George. Yeah, George. I know. Who's the actor who plays Patton in the movie Patton? I can't get it. George C. Scott. Thank you. Thank you. I knew somebody would have it. Yes, George C. Scott. So yes, I watched A Christmas Carol with George C. Scott. And it's one of the things that I loved about it is he does the best Scrooge that I've ever seen. I mean, his Ebenezer Scrooge is great. I love that version. I love all of the... Yeah, you thought it would stimulate my memory past Master Dan, but it was like basically trying to use, the paddles to bring back a potato. It just baked it. It didn't do much for it. That's how sad my brain is. But I was watching George C. Scott, and I was watching him as Ebenezer Scrooge, and all of the actors. I do like Patrick Stewart as Ebenezer Scrooge. Yeah, Michael Caine was really good in Muppets too. I will give you that. Many people have said that. But the thing about it is that his version of it, the humanity that he puts into it, and his change of character throughout, I just thought was extraordinary. And it always puts me in the Christmas mood. And I was reading something that that I hadn't read before. I read The Christmas Carol. I wonder if I have it in the other room. Mrs. Enjetti? Are you in there? I don't know if Mrs. Enjetti's still here. Hold on a second. But The Christmas Carol has a line in it. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get it. You guys wait here for 1 second. I'll be right back. Wait for the sound of tripping and crashing pans. Hang on a second. Oh, my kingdom for clear nasal passage. Lordy. Okay. So, this right here is my facsimile copy of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. It's one of my all-time favorite books. And it had this line in the very end, which I hadn't noticed before. And I'm not saying it's because it's just like, you could read a book 1,000 times and you could miss the you could just miss the the subtleties of the language, the things he was dealing with. But it made me think really deeply about my worldview and how I think about things. So here you go. You guys will know this probably very well, but I'm going to read it to the best of my ability. Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed. This is the part that got me. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh, and little heeded them, for he was wise enough to know that nothing ever happened on this globe for good at which some people did not have their fill of laughter in the outset. I want to read that again because I think that is freaking brilliant right there. Brilliant as a insight that he's offering us, right? That's so beautiful. For he was wise enough to know that nothing ever happened on this globe for good at which some people did not have their fill of laughter in the outset. And knowing that such as these would be blind anyway, he thought it quite as well that they should wrinkle up their eyes in grins as have the malady in a less attractive form. His own heart laughed, and that was quite enough for him. And I love that bit. It is brilliant. Well, this was before we all learned that the earth was flat, obviously, past Master Dan. But yes, it's just it's just extraordinary to me. It's a beautiful thing. And I love that. I love that, and I love that, by the way. There's something that's so spectacular about that, because I think that it's true. Whenever you're doing something that's positive or for, or you're genuine, there's always going to be people that laughed. And I guess the person I thought of right at that moment was, of course, Bob Ross, and how people probably laughed at Bob Ross and said, "Oh, Bob Ross, look at this guy. He can't paint. Hey, what's up, Phil?" And he can't paint. He doesn't know what he's doing. And I just thought to myself, like, why? Like, it's like it bothers them. And you know what? You're better off. Like a pancake with oceans of syrup. My God, Timmy, what are you doing to me, buddy? I love you, but you're going to make me hungry. But it's like all I could think of when I saw that was that, yeah, there's people who see A Christmas Carol and they say, bah, humbug. There's people who see the holidays or see the New Year's or see a new baby or see a young couple getting married or whatever else. And I guess the best you could say is that people laugh at things. I mean, God, if people laughing at your work and laughing at the things you do is the worst thing you're going to experience for bringing genuine good into this world, then by all means, laugh yourself and try to move on as best as possible. It's going to happen no matter what you do. I mean, I've seen people's laughter and derision in terms of my academic career for how positive I am. Try to convince themselves and convince anyone who would listen. Oh, this guy's a phony. Oh, this guy doesn't mean it. I've dealt with it everywhere. And, it's like, I'm sorry. Well, go back and watch now 5 years of my streams and see if my attitude has undergone some tremendous shift. Nobody can fake being this for very long. And frankly, at this age, I'm too tired. It's that simple. Too tired. I do this stuff because I mean, you can't fake gaining this level of skill and being disinterested in it. And that's something that that when Art was in here before and I was talking, with him about it, or, talking and he was typing, thank God it wasn't the other way around, because Lord knows. But when you look at something like what Art's doing with Black and White or Oodles of Doodles, you see this level of mastery that has to happen over time. It's skill that has to happen over time. And it's wild because I feel like all of the books that have been written, all of the great canonical works that have been written, I feel fortunate that they were written before I was born so that I could read them, so that I can learn from them, if that makes sense. That's really important to me. Hey, what's up, Mechanoid? How are you doing? Hello, hope you're enjoying the holidays. I am enjoying the holidays, and I hope you're enjoying the holidays as well. Michael Desjardins, gosh, sorry guys, I'm like, allergies are bad. Saying hello, Philins 8 Comics, always great to see you. John is saying, my glasses just fell. As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it good to bring it. Oh God, I cannot read right now. Sorry. As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive as they are today. Genesis 50:20. Thank you very much. There you go. Yes, you guys are challenging me with reading. Most people see joy in what they do, and others chase perfection, which cannot be obtained. Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy thing. History may not repeat itself, but it certainly rhymes. I love that quote. A lot to be learned from our ancestors. I couldn't even manage streaming for 5 minutes. It runs out of words. Yes, I feel the same way. You know, when I'm doing a painting like this, it's only possible because of just all of this time that I've put in and this sort of faith that, okay, you know, it's going to get done. It's going to work. And I think sometimes that the creative process is such a... it's such a bizarre, challenging, and sometimes very solitary thing. And it would be far more solitary if I didn't have you guys to stream with and to stream for, and if I didn't have, you know, my colleagues and fellow artists in Comicsgate to kind of just bounce ideas off of, and you know, just to sometimes to extend a helping hand or to tell you about something like learning about pirate ship was big for us this year. I mean, yeah, it's out there, but, you know, and someone could say, well, couldn't you just look up mailing sites? But it's nice to have people tell you things from experience, because we're spinning so many plates sometimes, we just don't even have a chance to think for a second, oh, I should try this. And Mrs. Enjetti was just banging her head against the wall with the damn stamps.com website crashing over and over and over again. And it's just, there's so much going on at any given time. And then it's like, oh, wow. You know, and it's good to see you, my friend. I hope you are well. And thank you guys for being here. Hello. Hit the like button. You guys look... I don't even need to say that. You guys have been doing a great job with that. But Mrs. Enjetti and I were just talking about how sometimes it's just... You don't need much, but it's that little bit of support of somebody just saying, hey, how are you doing? That it can sort of mean the world. And I think that's what I love about comics. I remember so many wonderful conversations with Wade Sane, who was the comic shop owner at American Collectors Exchange, where I would buy my comics in Chattanooga. And I just wanted to talk to somebody and talk about comics, and he was always so nice and so positive, and he would get me books back in the day when he'd have to call around to get them, you know, that I was interested in, or books I wanted to get. And then there was also the messages in a bottle of comics like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and all that stuff that I would get. Now, when you... Yes, indeed, she is great, and I appreciate her very, very much. Oh, I'll have to check that out. I feel like someone suggested that to me, too. I'm just now remembering this, and I still haven't checked it out, so that's my second reminder. I will check it out. But someone once... You know, when people say to me sometimes, it's like, you know, oh, do you hear what, you know... I don't know, like this actor, this comic creator, this person, or this whatever, you know, person said, does, or whatever about a particular thing. Most of the time, I really try to keep myself in that zone of, you know, I'm pretty sure there is no equivalency between Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird and what they did for me when they created the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And me buying their stuff. I benefited infinitely more for them having created it than they did with my purchase. And in fact, it's not to knock support and customer support, But all of us together pooling our resources could not have come up with that. That was the product of those two guys hanging out in Maine late one night, and the time and effort it took to make that first book with no thought it would go anywhere. At any moment, people could give up on comics. He could have given up on comics with, what was it, Scat? Was that the name of the comic that he was doing, Peter Laird at the time? And those guys gave so much to me, and regardless of whatever they're going on, or Frank Miller or any of those people, I look at their stuff and I just go, dude, you gave me The Dark Knight Returns, you gave me all this stuff, draw your comics, enjoy yourself, you've earned it. You know what I mean? Speaking of professors and intellectuals, gentlemen and scholars, we have Antoine Dennison. I bow to you, sir. It is great to see you in the house. I hope you were doing well. Oh my gosh, guys, it's my art runneth over. What do you do with the gift of imagination? Like, Charles Dickens is like, where is he? Gosh, my voice is going out. What Charles Dickens threw down with this book, this tiny collection of pages, is just earth-shattering. It's incredible what he was able to achieve. Shakespeare, who I've got his complete collection of work, all these folks who are the storytellers. I think it's kind of my responsibility as an artist to just be grateful for what I've received from them, and just try to, in my own way, carry on those traditions of making work until I can't anymore. So when you guys come on these streams and you see me doing what I'm doing, yes indeed, sir, and back at you, Antoine Dennison. I hope it's been well. A man called Plush, what's up? Greetings to you. It's great to see you. Gosh, I feel like I'm missing people in the chat. But when I think about all of that stuff and all of the stuff, hey, Wrenchy Award, I see something coming. Hold on a second. Where are you, Jim? Hey, Wrenchy Award winning Antoine Dennison. That's right. That's right. A fellow Wrench, Jim. But when I think about just the fun of making fiction and making work like this, it's tied to all of that. It's tied to all of the great artists that I've seen, and H.P. Lovecraft was this guy who, H.P. Lovecraft, I know you guys know some about H.P. Lovecraft, but H.P. Lovecraft was a very tortured soul, and he went through a ton of his mom was a utter psycho. I mean, however big of a psycho you could think H.P. Lovecraft is, he didn't measure up to what his mother laid down in his psyche. She was horrendous. But H.P. Lovecraft was just tortured, filled with anxiety, depression, anxiety, and he was going to die, when he passed away at 45 or 44, I forget how old he was. And in that brief time, he was able to leave a legacy with cosmic horror that I still trade on and I still benefit from today. And you just think, what a struggle it was for that guy to stay alive, to share his artwork, to do anything, because he was just so tortured, Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. And it was just, Bancroft had the Wrenchies last night. There it is. Okay. I felt like I was missing a joke in there. Yeah, he came by it honestly. He absolutely did. Yep, Nosfero t-shirts, guys. Check them out. The book is still available, the art edition, if you want to see that book with just the art. I'm excited about that. I can't even tell you. But it's like, you just think, like, this guy was barely hanging on. So many artists that we lost young, and in that brief time, they just gave that, that work. I see. I'll have to watch. There you go, Antoine. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it's a miracle to me every day that art even exists and it comes out, and that people support it. I hope you guys know you're part of something really important when you support artwork and you support stuff that's coming out. It's incredible. Like, it's an incredible thing to do, and I always try to connect with and thank artists while they're still alive. There was an artist I really wanted to reach out to not long ago who passed away just this year, which was Michael Zulli. Michael Zulli did the Soul's Winter story arc of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it was this very out there, cool, beautiful thing. And I remember, the comic shop I was at when I bought it, and I just thought, man, I'd love to reach out to that guy and say, hey, man, that story was killer. Like, what you did with that was awesome. And then I was just reading the announcement on X that he had passed away, and Jason Pearson comes to mind too. I just backed a little while ago because of Rocky. I just backed his Body Bags Artist Edition, which is coming out. But I knew Jason when I was at Gaijin Studios, and I know he had his difficulties and things like that, as I know from his friends. We're always talked about. I know a lot of people were concerned. But that was just a gut punch, man. And so I just think it's you can always look back and smile. I think people, I don't know, man. It's very difficult, and of course this is on my mind today. It's very difficult sometimes, I think, for people to be kind to themselves when they look at when they think about their interactions with people that they lose. And whether it's artists or anything else, like I really wanted to tell Dave Stevens thank you, because and I did. I thanked him one time, but Dave Stevens, for those of you guys who don't know, the creator of The Rocketeer, he went back to art school. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I totally, Timmy. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But Dave Stevens went back to art school because he felt like he missed something in his life by not going to art school and learning classical painting, which I don't know if he would have learned in art school anyway, but he really felt like he was missing something, and he always felt bad about himself and his work because of that. And I had this dream that I would see him one day at San Diego Comic-Con and say, look, I'm a teacher at what's considered to be the Harvard of art schools, and I've taught there for 15 years. And let me tell you something. When I was at that school as a student, I saw The Rocketeer, and The Rocketeer and your work was the best thing and one of the best things I got in art school. And I just really wanted to tell him that, and it's just reading about his passing in 2008, just it was rough, so it's that opportunity to to tell people you appreciate them and all of that sort of stuff. It's important to remember. And so rather than kind of just sitting in that and saying, oh man, and having the regret of that, going, I did meet Dave Stevens and I told him your work blew my mind and I love your stuff and you're amazing. And I always try to hold on to that stuff and remember that stuff. It's not always easy to do, but yeah, like I wake up sometimes, hopefully every time, but I wake up and I think about all the stuff I'm grateful for. And what was I watching? What was the movie? Oh, one of my favorite movies to watch for Christmas. Amen. Say it today. Leave it all in the ring. 100%. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yes, he did, Timmy Mello. Here's something one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time is White Christmas. Love that movie. And I love the part where it's instead of counting sheep, count your blessings. I love that song. Bing Crosby is one of my heroes, man. Bing Crosby was awesome. What a legend he was. But I love that movie. It's one of my top 3 Christmas movies, I think, is White Christmas. Just everything about it is great. It's very uplifting and inspiring, and I love that stuff. So good. Yeah, it's such a great. I mean, because it's a lot of how. It's Rosemary Clooney is so great in that too, and Danny Kaye is so great in it. I just love it, man. It's so good. Mine is Wildcard 2015 with Jason Statham. Hey, listen, we all love Jason Statham. I was watching him at the Usyk Tyson Fury 2 fight, and he looks cool everywhere. That dude's got a very famous dome, let us say. He made it happen, man. And he's just one of those actors that people just connect with. I remember seeing him when he was not as well known. But I think, what was it? What was the movie that made him a big star? I know it was kind of gradual, but was there one particular movie that made him? Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life is my number one. So yeah, I have that on Blu. Love that movie. I have it on Blu-ray. Could watch that all the time, man. All the time. Yeah. I love that movie. Yep. But what was the movie that made him was it the Transporter? Was that, but that wasn't really that was kind of like a starring vehicle, right? Yeah, indeed he does. Snatch was when I noticed him. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. I noticed him with that. You're right. Before that, Famous Dome phrasing. Yes, I think Transporter might have been it, but I'm not sure. I just remember that was the one that was the most advertised. The Transporter. I haven't seen him in Green Machine. No, what is that? Lord Hinson, let me know. I haven't seen him in Green Machine. But he's been in so many movies. But it's like by the time he was in the Meg, it's like he's a headliner, and all that stuff. And I just was remembering. I mean, he was obviously in the Expendables movies and all that stuff. But I feel like Transporter was the first time they were really pushing his name as an action star. But Snatch was when I noticed, I think. Snatch, me too. There you go. Snatch is when I noticed, but Lock, Stock was before. Gotcha. Yeah, same here. Because it was the parts where he was talking to Brad Pitt, and he's like, "Did you understand a word he just said?" Love that. My mom's partial to the periwinkle blue. God, that is a ridiculous bit of acting and sequencing. One Punch Mickey. Gotta love it. I just realized, oh man, I might not be painting on frame here. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's England's version of The Longest Yard. He's the psycho goalie. Ooh, man, now I'm interested. That sounds great. You like dogs? That's right. Oh my God. Yeah, every now and again you hear an accent from a place, and even if you know 1,000 people from that place, you go, that I can't understand a word. And he did it. That was hilarious. That accent was great. Holy cow. So good, man. So good. There we go. I want to show you guys. I got some new. I got a new brush going right now, which hopefully isn't dropping too many hairs on this painting. But take a look at that. Oh, that's so cool. I love what a new brush can do, man. It's like, but I'm just getting these little wrinkles. Like, now, is anybody gonna probably? Well, you guys will notice it because you guys are, you guys pay attention to this stuff. But it's just like, oh man, I love that stuff. I love doing things like that. Yeah, Guy Ritchie in his prime too. I will tell you guys. I don't know. What did you guys think of? What did you guys think of the Sherlock Holmes movies? I'm a huge fan of Sherlock Holmes as well, and I really liked his Sherlock Holmes movies. I thought that particularly what he did with Sebastian Moran's the assassin guy. I thought he was awesome. The actor they got for him, who was later in Peaky Blinders. I thought Robert Downey did a pretty decent job. I thought Jude Law was actually really good as Watson, to be honest. I think he was good. And I liked... he's a son of a famous actor. Is it Richard Harris's son? What is his name? Who played Moriarty? I thought he did a great job as Moriarty, too. Yeah. I don't know. I'm a big fan of that stuff. Yeah. Oh, his The Gentleman series and his movie was really good. I have not seen it, but I've heard some cool stuff about it. Has anybody seen that movie? Is that his? Was it the Ministry of Gentlemanly or something? What is that called? Dang, I'm blanking on it right now. Yeah, what is that movie called? Sean, I caught your super chat. Oh, on the Y-Files Christmas Day stream. Yes, absolutely. Speaking of, man, people who work like crazy, is that guy. AJ's been a huge inspiration for me this year. I've been working on all kinds of stuff inspired by him. So yeah, I was happy. I had to send him a super chat. I had to send him a little thank you for all of the entertainment. He has a great quote about doing YouTube, and he goes, he goes, if people don't like my streams, I'm like, I'll give you a full refund. So because I know he does all that stuff for free, I'm always happy to send a super chat if I can to help him out, because it does. I mean, all that stuff helps. You know, all that stuff helps. Let me see. Venombyte says Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. That's right. No, not that one. But let's say, hey, Eric, channel member Eric Huffles is here. It's great to see you, brother. Is that a Guy Ritchie movie? Does anybody know if that's a Guy Ritchie movie? I feel like it was, but then maybe it's just a stylistic that I'm noticing. You know, but I'm always glad to see Henry Cavill working, because yeah, he's had a tough go, man, with just, oh man. It's just, I mean, I'm sure he's gonna be okay, but he strikes me as somebody who I hope that he has what I expect to be a long career, because I think he's one of those actors who is going to have a really great late career as well, because he seems like he's able to lean into character, and he's really able to have some fun, and he's disciplined. Oh, I read a really great quote from Eiko Ishioka, a costume designer, and I've heard a lot of her quotes. I love her quotes. They're great. But this one I hadn't heard. She was the costume designer who worked on Bram Stoker's Dracula. And she said people would often refer to her as a genius. And she said, I'm not a genius, I'm just disciplined. And I love that quote. I'm not a genius, I'm just disciplined. And I went, wow, that's craziness. That's a great quote. What's Tammy? It's great to see you. Belated Merry Christmas, although I know we were able to see each other on via comment section on those posts, but I hope it was a Merry Christmas for you, and of course I'm hoping for a Happy New Year for you as well. It's great to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Because Anna, that Star Wars girl, loves him. Yes, she certainly does, and she's got another little Star Wars girl, which I'm really happy to know. Looking forward to Cavill's Warhammer 40k. Me too. I hope they do a great job on it. I hope they do a really great job on it. Still haven't watched The Ministry. I need to watch it. Already got it on physical media. Nice. Yeah, I have been picking up some physical media lately. I think I got my first. I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, Shanth, you're so far behind the time, because you know I love movies. But I just got my first 4K Blu-ray player. Or I guess not called a Blu-ray player. Oh, dear. I just got my first 4K player, or ultra, what's it called? Ultra high definition or whatever. And I just got that, and it's been really cool to watch certain movies that I've had on Blu-ray and 4K for the first time. One of them was Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, which had incredible sets by this master set designer who worked on Crimson Peak for Guillermo del Toro, worked on Apocalypto for Mel Gibson. He's just brilliant, and he worked on Sleepy Hollow, and what a genius he is. And so I was able to see his sets in high definition, high detail. Really great stuff. I'm going to get a 4K VHS. I knew Eric was going to spike that one. Tammy saying hello. Yeah, it was just another day for me. Understood. Well, every day is a great day when Tammy D is here. So let me see here. Doc Brewski, what's up, Doc? How you doing? Bruce Campbell's Chin, great to see you, man. Just got Blazing Saddles and Demolition, special editions. I love Demolition, man. And I think that Wesley Snipes' performance in that is one of the best performances he's ever done. And that's saying something, because he's had some outstanding performances. But Simon Phoenix is one of the all-time great characters, and his performance in that is great. Love Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man. I mean, he was... what a great performance. And the movie is great. You know, I mean, people joke about it accurately predicting, you know, the future. And it's just a great flick, a great ride movie. Look at this craziness, man. It's weird that you guys can see this kind of detail when I'm streaming. It's weird. It's like you guys are at my desk. You get to see the glamour of comic book art. Oh man, glamour of painting. Although to me it's still fun. I love sharing this stuff with you because I like watching videos where people show me how they make the stuff, that they make. I love watching Townsend's and the whole 18th century thing that they do there. Or sorry, yeah, 18th century, 1700s. See if I can move this up just a little bit so you get a little bit of a better view there. There we go. That's a little bit better color-wise. All right, sounds good. I'm glad to hear it. Let me see here. Blazing Saddles is, of course, a masterpiece. Did I say hey to Doc Brewski yet? Hey, Doc Brewski, if I missed you. David D is here. Good to see you. Sean, do you know how to use the 3 seashells? Yes. What the heck was that? Craziness. Let me see here. Don't know if Phil Zaid Comics is still in the chat, but I got my shelled bean shirt and the banana bean out of the mail today when I got back to town. Thanks again. So, Phil, if you're around, heads up. Mark's Music Obsession just got those. And so there you go. Bruce Campbell's Chin. I'm telling you what, my glasses. I pick up way too many special editions for pins, posters, and all that physical extras. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love Blu-rays and I love bonus features and all that. So I just got this mega Blair Witch Project set that just shows all the behind-the-scenes footage and all this stuff. And I'm a big fan of that movie. I know a lot of people could take it or leave it. But it just, to me, it's very independent and cool in terms of its creative spirit. And I get a kick out of that movie. I think it's brilliant. And I got that, and then I got something related to it, which I don't know if you guys have seen. But it's hold on, let me grab it. Oh god, sorry guys. I'm trying not to make you guys too motion sick here. If you're watching this on a TV, God bless you. One sec, I'll be right back. Oh man. My kingdom for my allergies to go away. Oh my lord. Here we go. Oh. All right. So, one more thumbs up and we have 50 likes. Is that true, Eric Cuffles? Holy cow. Thank you guys. That's awesome. Hey there, teacher is gone. That's right. Everybody starts throwing spitballs and everything like that. So, I don't know if you guys remember this. And apparently, yeah, Wilhelm scream would absolutely happen. But apparently, there were 2 versions of this, and this is the rarer first version. Oh, looks like we just hit 50 likes, guys. I'm going to give us a cheerleader for that. We need it.
Charge! Charge!
Hello, hello. So, yeah, so this right here was a Todd McFarlane's toy company Blair Witch design for what the Blair Witch looked like when nobody knew, what it would look like. And they did another version. This is a rarer version. It was the first one they put out, and then they changed it. I don't know why. But it was just a really cool thing. And I thought, I don't have anything really up for the Blair Witch. And I really think those guys do some interesting stuff and did something really cool with that work. So I was like, I got to get something for it. But the new Blu-ray that they just released is great. It's really, really cool. But yeah, thank you guys so much for your support. You guys are killing it today, man. Hey, the nurse is gone. There you go. That's right. Yeah, it looks like a skeleton warrior. Yeah, and that figure's like 20 years old or something, I think. Yeah, I think it's like 20-something years old. Let me see here. Antoine Dennison, let me get my glasses here. I haven't seen the Blair Witch Project in decades, but I like the spirit and the intent of that film. We have lots of forests in Colorado. Oh, I bet you do. My wife wants to take me there, actually, with weird, pentagrams and dilapidated cabins and remote play. That's terrifying and cool at the same time. Yes. And welcome, Antoine. It's good to see you. Aquarelle, is it watercolor painter? Is that what we're saying? I think we are, right? Let me see here. Yes, I want to see it too, and agreed. Yeah, I think it's going to be creepy. Yeah, guys, I mean, I feel like, I hope that really cool, epic kind of gothic horror stuff makes a comeback. And there's just a lot more of that stuff going on. because I like the craftsmanship of it. I've been following with a great deal of enthusiasm some of the work that's being done at Universal, at the Universal parks, and the stuff that they're doing with the Dark Universe there. Man, you can really see how much pencil smudging is happening around the border there. Wow, that's wild. Yeah, this painting is I mean, it's worthy of to me, it's worthy of a cover, which is what it's got to be, because, you know, the cover for Nosfero Book 1, and again, the art edition and the oxidized edition are both available, but it's got to be on that level. It's got to be on that level. And and I really was really happy with this cover for a bunch of reasons, like a lot of the things that are in it, and another cover it was referencing. So I was kind of viewing the second book's cover with a little bit of trepidation, and the artwork is so much larger. I mean, it's like, for those of you guys who don't know, you know, it's funny, people were asking me at the start of the stream, yes, bring back black and white movies for horror, absolutely. People were asking me about my originals at the start of the stream. I'm going to get up and walk again, because that's what I'm doing today, apparently. Probably good for me. Let me see. So for those of you guys who need a push to back the art edition, here you go. Here is the original cover for Nosfero Book 1. There it is, guys. Now here's the cool thing. This is the cover for Nosfero Book 2. I'm going to hold this up so you guys can see it. Ah! Look at the scale difference. So the cover for Book 2 is a lot larger. So I'm actually working larger for Book 2 than I did on Book 1. So it's going to be really fun to see how that translates into the detail. And funny enough, it's just more relaxing. Yeah, Shanth goes off screen to blow his nose apart, but we hear it even clearer because he's closer to the mic. You're so right, Antoine Dennison. That's what I do. As if, brother. We love you, Mark's Music Obsession. I want you to order yourself something absolutely fantastic for dinner tonight, Mark's Music Obsession. Something fantastic, a worthy celebration of a great life, man. And I know everybody in the chat has said this today, but if you're coming late to the stream, Mark's Music Obsession's mother passed away on Christmas Day, and her 86th birthday was on Christmas Eve. I can't imagine having a more devoted, loving, and supportive son than Mark's Music Obsession, because you've always mentioned her on stream. So anybody in the chat who hasn't had a chance yet, please send some love to Mark's Music Obsession. It's one of those things to where I know there's another angel in heaven, and I know that she's home, but that doesn't undercut the grief and the things that come along with it. But we're thrilled to be spending today with you, Mark, and hanging out. And I want you to have a great dinner, and I want you to just take care of yourself today, because I know that's what she would want, because I knew you took great care of her. No doubt. And I love having her watch those streams and you telling me about it, man, on the TV. So yeah, much love, brother. Yeah, prayers up in the chat. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate you guys are good people. Thank you. But it's funny, man. It's like I think when it comes to doing this stuff, I never know what I'm going to be working on. The reason why I'm working on the board that I'm choosing to work on right now is because they discontinued. Like I was working on that paper that I did the first cover on. I was working on that for I don't know how many years, like decades, like maybe 20 or 30 years. And they discontinued the paper. And I'm like, I got to find a new way of working, but it's one of those crazy things to where it opened the door to this, and there's something about this surface that's getting better stuff out of me. Or not better work, but it's getting different stuff, let's say, out of me. You know what I mean? And that's the thing I love. Amen. And thank you guys in the chat, Mark. And I hope I'm not I'm not bringing it up too much, but it can't escape my mind. You know how it is, man. We love you, boss, and I appreciate your support. You know, it's I actually have thought about doing a black and white painted comic. It's funny that you bring that up. When I was doing yep, amen. So my mom would go see scary movies as a kid, and my mom would go see scary movies as a kid and then walk home. Of course, back then you could walk by yourself. Indeed. Oh my gosh, where was Janine living back then? Out of curiosity. It's crazy to think about that because, you know, God, I used to walk around the neighborhood in Detroit, Michigan in the 80s. I don't know what. Our parents were just like, God be with you, and sent us off. You know? Someone said, what did parents do before you could just leave your kids on the internet before? And I go, they dropped us off at the mall. Do you guys remember that? They would drop us off at the mall. I don't know if you guys remember that. It's like going, well, I hope you're still here. That's right. Absolutely. Of course, Mark. We're happy to be here for you. Oh, wow. Really? Chardon, Ohio, east of Cleveland. Oh, wow. So, yeah, I mean, they would just drop us off at the mall. And they just assume we'd stay there. And oftentimes it'd be like, oh, your 11-year-old is watching her 8- and 5-year-old sibling. Were any of you guys ever dropped off at the mall when you were little? I remember that like really clearly and how like wild that is to think about now. It's like, it'll be all right. Oh my God, those were different times. You know, before cell phones, you didn't know, no one knew where you were. Oh, it's just too crazy, man. Too crazy to think about that stuff now. My goodness. They were different times, and they shall be different times again. I do have a feeling that something I heard Joe Rogan say not long ago was, he goes, the thing about people is, whenever people get a new technology, they have a tendency to overuse it for everything. And he goes, you know, with cars, we had, and I'm not saying I mind the car one, but we had, you know, drive-in theaters and drive-through restaurants and drive-through this, drive-through that. And then with phones, it was like the party line and everything else you could do with a phone. And he goes, and then it sort of settles and we kind of it finds its place and we're not that nuts with it. And I just think that there's people seem to be getting more and more interested in getting out and doing things and spending time hanging out and doing the things that we're doing here. You know, there was that time period where everything was sound bites, and now you're seeing podcasts and streams that go on for hours. People just kind of hang out and get to know one another. And there's just something nice about that. And you watch the creation of a book over a period of months and years, and you just it's a totally different experience. And I'm always open to whatever is going to come next. But I mean, shoot, I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff. There's not a single thing that I'm doing right now. Let me just see if I can think about this, if that's true. Yes. There's not a single thing that I'm doing right now that I ever did or learned in college. I never had sent an email while I was in college. I had certainly never streamed, because that wasn't a thing. Videoed. I didn't even know how to paint when I graduated college, or do painted illustrations when I graduated college. All of the stuff I'm doing right now is from learning new things. Yep. I definitely overused biotech. Still do. There you go. Technology changes, but human nature does not. Yeah, and human need, too. Mike D in the house, of course, says the mall where the arcades, go-karts, and movies were in my neighborhood, but very much separated. Yep, indeed. Mighty Geek Studios, you get dropped off at the mall, and Mom will always find you in the toy store. That's 100% right. My dad would ring a bell outside, and I knew wherever I was, it was time to come in. I could hear it throughout the neighborhood. I know what you mean. Yeah, we used to hop fences in Detroit, Michigan, in Grosse Pointe Woods. It's crazy. My parents let me do whatever I wanted as long as the cops never gave me a personal escort home. Amen. That's right. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? Who was talking about that the other day, and then they played that funny clip with later guys, work calls, take care, Timmy Mello, my brother, have a great day, I will see you soon, and a very happy new year if I don't see you before New Year's. Yeah, one of the things that was so funny is they played the clip of Homer Simpson that goes, it's 10 o'clock, do you know where your children are? And he goes, I told you yesterday, no. Just made me laugh. Yeah, it was a boat type of bell, funny enough. I'm now playing a boat bell at the start and end of the streams because I do the 8 bells and all as well ring. I decided was a much more fun way and fitting way for me to close streams out because you guys know how it goes. We have a little bit of fun here. We do a little bit of painting, as Bob Ross would say. God bless Bob Ross. Yeah, Bob Ross is definitely a hero of mine. And I think about him whenever I fire up these streams because he did so many of those things and we're still watching them. They're just evergreen. You know, he just was sharing that time painting. And I love that I get to share this time painting with you guys and you know, showing you guys all of the crazy things that go into making this work. You know, making Nosfero and all the stuff that I do, making Spring Ball and I think that the more that I get to spend time with you guys and let you guys in on the process, I think the more it helps people to kind of see it get the word out. And every time I get a new backer or something like that, it helps everything I do. So thank you guys for backing the book. Mark's Music Obsession, of course. I cannot wait to send that ginormous package. That sounds, Mark, that sounded a little bad. Or did it? Can't wait to send you that amazing, amazing collection of books for your library, man. That is going to be so cool and so fun to do. Yeah, man. Looking forward to it. That's why I'm working on these paintings. Once I get these prints together, it's like, we're on. We do it. It's going to be so cool, guys. Yep. Oh, yeah, look at that. I love paint. It's so fun. Yeah, and there's this link to the second chance. Thank you, Eric Huffles. Admiral, says Tammy D. Cheers, Admiral. Is Admiral heading out? Yep. All right, take care. Admiral, are you heading out or are you here? I missed something. Okay, later, Timmy. All right. I don't know if Admiral's here. There's Total Conquest annual link right there. Eric's dropping links in the chat like a maniac. It's good to see you. Where's Steve? I haven't seen Stephen Rockwood today. What the heck? Where is Stephen Rockwood? Let me see here. Mark's Music Obsession. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait to go through all the art books. It's going to be so cool. Nah, I'm here. Admiral's like, I'm here. The Admiral's here. Folks, everybody relax. Everybody relax. The Admiral is here. We're okay. Everything's going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. Yeah, I mean, it's so funny, too, because I get to pack all of the books. Yeah, I remember it all. Like, it's like, you know, it's weird. It's not like any other, you know, big business when you think about, you know, comics and how comic book companies have typically worked. And I'm sure Billy Tucci could tell so many stories about that with, you know, Crusade Comics and everything he's been doing. You know, so many independent creators who've done that. And I'm sure that the guys, you know, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman could talk about that. The printers to distribution back before it was just Diamond. You know, there was a different time in the 80s with distributors. You know, but there's something really cool about writing people's name on the outside of the box and packaging the boxes up, and then I give them to Mrs. Enjetti and she puts the labels on them, but I always hand write everybody's name and the number of the package that they have, and that's what's so fun about it, you know. And I cannot wait to do that for Mark. It's going to be great. That's right. Let me see here. I've got to like learn how to read that better. Yay. For 2025. I feel like I almost know it. Was just running errands. Gotcha, Admiral. Gotcha. Let's see here. In honor of Stephen Rockwood, more blood and boobs. Amen. Better now. It is better. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, Mark's definitely gonna need to clear off some space for that, man. That's gonna be a fun trip to the post office for sure. Yeah. I think there's only one of the. I don't know how many of those are left actually. There might be only one of those, or two of those left, or three perhaps, of the kind of like all-in thing. Sean's ginormous package. Well, you know, from your lips to God's ears, spaceman. Let's see here. As Clay Travis said, I only believe in two things: the First Amendment and boobs. Amen. Amen. Wise words. Wise words. Well, you know, I certainly believe in both of those. Oh my Lord. Yeah, I was trying to explain. Who was I talking to? Oh, I was talking to my brother Nick the other day, and I told him, I go, my chat introduced me to the word diaphanous, which now I can't imagine my life without it. It has become a a part of my aesthetic. I was doing it first, but I didn't know the word. But the chat gave me the words I needed. God bless you all. It's too funny to think about. Holy cow. Crazy times, man. Crazy times. Crazy times I would not trade for the world. That's what I would say. But, oh man, I'm painting off stream again. Dang it. I always want you guys to see some of this stuff that I'm doing because... Here we'll go. We'll do another run at it. But I always want to show this stuff because there's something really fun about watching the paint mixture happens when you do this. This is right here is sort of a little bit more of a wet-on-wet kind of technique. And it just allows me to get these really nice kind of fades and breaks that give the skin texture of these creatures I'm painting. They have a little bit more gravitas, you know? Laugh out loud. Who would introduce you to diaphanous? Who would do such a thing? John, I have an idea or two who would. I have an idea or two. I think you know. I think you know. But you know, it's who, you know, again, Art T-Bear, when he was in here earlier, I was talking about that Jubilee piece that's in Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. And he just did this really nice thing with a couple of gray values in it that I just thought was beautiful. Thought it was really just a nice little flourish with the ink lines. And you know, that's the stuff I live for. You know, there's this panel that Ethan did in the first issue of CYBERFROG. I always come back to it. I don't know why, but or maybe it was a page sequence is a better way of putting it. And it's in that sequence, CYBERFROG's head pops out of the water, you know, and it's this apocalyptic world. And then there's this thin, narrow panel where CYBERFROG's leaping out of the water. And I don't know why, but that sequence just, I don't know, it really, I found it really affecting, and it really struck me visually, you know. But it's like whenever I see comic book artwork, there are panels that jump out at me. I don't know if any of you guys remember this, but there was this panel, and thank you for dropping the link, Eric Cuffles. I appreciate it so much, man. Yes, indeed. Off to Starbucks for coffee and Merry Mint. God bless you, awesome one. And thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Yeah, John's obviously a man of culture, says Eric Cuffles. Is that yellow metallic gold, or is it just the lighting? It's the lighting. There's no gold in it, but it does give that effect. And what's really cool, Antoine, since I know you like to talk shop as well, is that I've found that while people go metallic colors never reproduce, I think the way that scans in the camera picks up metallic colors has its own texture. I don't think it needs to be a spot gold for you to use gold in your work, because sometimes it can give it this really neat iridescent quality that's not wildly predictable, but if you use it in set amounts, it can give your work a color richness. So sometimes I don't think the aim when you're using gold or silver paint has to be that it's actually printed with metallic paints when you do the finish. I think sometimes it can be just the quality of it, because I look at Gustav Klimt's work without spot gold on it, and it's got a beautiful look to it. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know, I think sometimes people are a little bit too shy about using that kind of paint. And I know I use metallic paints every now and again, and I might do that again. But yeah, very good question, man. Yeah, so check out Art T-Bear's Oodles and Doodles and other stuff too. And later, awesome one. Take care, my friend. Yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, you know, it's weird. Like, I'm sorry, I'm like looking at Nosfero now and trying to think about it. Like, there was definitely a conscious decision for me to do a gloss cover, for not just for durability, but I liked the way that it handled the colors, and it gives it that pulp feel that I want Nosfero to have, you know. And again, like I said, guys, if you're late to the party, if you're like, Nosfero what? Nosfero is my fully painted comic book. I need to do this more. My fully painted comic book, Nosfero the Crypt Walker. It's a gothic pulp adventure story. Very cool. If you like H.P. Lovecraft, if you like Solomon Kane, if you like the original Phantom comics, which I know that Graham Nolan did some Phantom comic strips, which I learned recently. How awesome is that? All right, take care, my friend. Spaceman, have a great day. LA Kings hockey calls you. Have a great time watching the game, or in person, or on TV, however it goes. But this is one of those things to where I wanted to do matte finish, more or less matte coated finish on the interior, because I just think it helped with getting the colors exactly how I wanted them to be when you guys get the book. And so yeah, it's I think you guys can see when you see the book next to my paintings what a great job my printer does with colors. Oh, Doc Brewski here saying, I got my daughter Art's Oodles and Doodles for Xmas and she loves it. That's great, man. Yeah, it's a beautiful collection of work. Art's got just it's funny. We were just joking about me referring to his work in the trailer I did for it as lyrical, but I think it's true. But it is. It's playful, it's expressive, but it's also meticulous. So it's not sloppy. It's not slapdash. I don't know. The more I look at artwork, the more I don't know. There's something about that that I just love. Ooh, the Lightnings are playing later tonight. Oh, there you go. The Lightning are playing later tonight. Very cool. Yeah, boxing has had a good couple of weeks too, so I think my cup runneth over boxing wise. I don't know if I'm in for any more this year. I think Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk too was definitely enough of a Christmas present. That and the fact they uploaded that thing in 4K within 2 days of the fight for Christmas, which was pretty darn amazing. So yeah, they got a really good boxing strategy for promoting the sport right now, which I hope they keep up. And of course, Jason Statham was there in person, because if you want to have a successful event, you got to bring Jason there, I guess, just to tie that all together. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm starting to have some fun with that. It's coming together. Yeah, art stuff is really fun. Yeah, I prefer details. Yeah, I like. There's something about detail that I just don't know if it can be dismissed. It's strange because occasionally I'll see work that that I like that is not very detailed. It's got very great, really good storytelling. There's a vibe to it that I really dig. But there's also this aspect to where, detail in work is kind of essential for me to buy into it a little bit. And it's the rare time that someone is so good spatially that that they're able to pull off, that kind of stuff without the details, because sometimes I need to see, or I want to see, the world. Now, granted, you can do so much detail that it can get busy sometimes and things like that, but I even enjoy Jeff Darrow's stuff that he's done on Shaolin Cowboy, and that stuff is nuts in terms of its detail. But I like that, I like that Jeff is doing what he's trying to do with his work. He's going for something with Ling Claire that Hergé did not, that Hergé wasn't doing, and in a way it kind of justifies, his approach, because I think it's tied to the way he tells stories. But look at this, it's coming together, guys. Aetherline, what's up? It's good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a bit, or I haven't seen you. You've got a new icon, for all I know. It could just be that. It could just be your profile pic. Everybody's bringing it with the profile pics today. Yeah, Matt Martin, oh, shoot, I didn't click on it. Sorry, John. Matt Martin, EVS, Joe Ball, Reedy Draws, give me the deets. Yeah, they have a lot of detail in their stuff. Matt Martin's, I don't know if I mentioned this enough, but Matt Martin's work and his detail work and his artistry in Snowman was really cool. I was looking forward to that book, and it didn't disappoint. It was just breathtaking work. Matt's just got... it's hard to describe Matt Martin's style, actually, because it's not classical, but it's got classical elements in it. I mean, when he was drawing the horses and he was drawing the trains and things like that, all that stuff had a solidity to it, but the creatures and the playfulness of the characters whenever there would get to be some sort of action scene, it's like he let loose. It was a really nice mixture. I think the person who's best at that, yeah, I like Matt Martin's Snowman book too. Yeah, I feel like it was the other outlaw comic. Sign up for Snowman 2 by Matt Martin. There it is, guys. Yeah, Matt's book, there have been a couple of books that I feel are kindred spirits to what I'm doing. And I wanted to do a book. I know this will shock some of you, of course, right? But when I did Nosfero, I was like, this book's going to have nudity in it, like a Hammer horror movie. I'm going to have some sexiness to it. And that was really important to me. And that means that it's not going to be, although I think it's ridiculous that we make movies R-rated for a rear end and press is ridiculous. And when we show violence in PG-13 movies, that blows my mind. But that's a conversation for another time. But when I think about, Nosfero, and I think about the stuff that I'm doing in this book, I want it to have the fun Hammer horror sort of feel to it. And so when I saw that Matt Martin was kind of taking it a little bit darker than that, I was like, okay, well, cool, but I'm glad somebody's doing it. Because I do think that's what manga and European comics don't bat an eye at some of that stuff. And I'm not saying you have to have a reason for it, and my reason for it is aesthetic. It's the same reason that the female form is so beautiful, and Alphonse Mucha would highlight it. It was the central theme of his work, and I won't take that off the table. You're killing me, Antoine. I won't take that resource off the table, but I don't do a lot of gore. That's not really my thing, and there's just some. It's weird the kind of mixture of stuff I like. I like Dale Keown's work a lot because I like that Dale has that perfect mixture of having kinetic energy and a sculptural quality to it. I like Ethan's work a lot because Ethan's work with his line work has almost a rhythm to it. Like his, when Ethan's putting detail into his work, some people add detail to their work to try to give you more information or out of some kind of insecurity. But people who are really good at doing detail in their work, when they're doing it, it has almost a meditative quality when they're doing it, and that translates onto the page. And there's just a really nice meditative quality to it and a richness to the cartooning. I believe it's a new cover on the Warts and All deluxe hardcover that just came out. And it's... that artwork is awesome. Is that new? Can someone in the chat let me know if that's new Ethan artwork on the CYBERFROG Warts and All deluxe edition that just came out? Because that is that's a really sweet cover, and it's totally got that rhythm I love about his work. And then who else was I going to talk about? Matt Martin. Oh, but Dale's work has got this really great sculptural quality. But the way that he hatches when he does add line, or the way that he uses line when he does the gesture of a figure. Yes, it's a recreation. So, yep, excellent. See, that's a perfect example right there. But Dale's stuff has this kind of just kinetic action that I think that Jason Pearson had, but Jason didn't have the sculptural quality that Dale brings to it. And it's a wild thing. It's like, I want different things from different artists. John's stuff is wild because one of the influences... What's up, Robert? How are you doing? It's good to see you. It's rhythm because he draws and inks one thing at a time. He doesn't draw it all at once and then ink it. You're right. Yeah, you're right, Robert. Robert dropping in here with a very astute observation. Well done, man. And welcome. And please subscribe if you haven't yet. So this is the thing about it, right? John's stuff, John had an influence. He mentioned that, and I really dig John's stuff. I still think Black Riding Hood is one of my favorite things of his. But John mentioned, I'm going to run into everything today. John mentioned an influence and an artist that we both like that I'm starting to see more and more in his stuff. And it's Whilce Portacio's stuff. And I don't know if you guys are fans of Whilce's stuff. If you remember it from Wetworks, they just released recently a Stone Omnibus that John recommended to me, and so I checked it out and got it. But when I see John, Whilce's stuff is a little bit more... it's a little bit more painterly, weirdly, if that makes sense, even though it's done with a quill. But I think that the sort of dynamic action of the figures and the way that he does hair is something that's really been coming out in John's work and something that I really dig about it. But I think that the double cover he did for, I guess it was the second printing of book 1, and maybe it was it for a supplemental? It was like a joint cover. That had that was the closest I've seen anybody do to a modern Rob Liefeld I think, ever. That was a really cool piece of taking what John does and bringing some of that energy that Rob, has had in his stuff. And it's just, yeah, it's a very tough thing to explain, but people are stunned when they learn I like Rob's stuff and the stuff he did in New Mutants and things like that. But and then it's like, but Shane is the same thing. Like, Shane's got a thing he's doing with Scale right now with Inglorious Rex that I really like, and a lot of like the combat stuff, but it's different. I think Shane drawing Kaiju is just a brilliant pairing, because he does scale really well. One of my favorite covers I think I've seen in Wetworks, Uncanny X-Men. See, my two brothers, Rocky and my other brother Arvin, who both have YouTube channels, they're both Arvin's actually from the Philippines. Rocky's first generation, born in the States, Filipino, and so they were just telling me about Wills, because Wills is Filipino, and so they really introduced me to a deeper understanding of his work and all the other stuff he's done. But I remember seeing his stuff with Wetworks and just thinking that was just the coolest stuff. I think it was did he do X Factor ever, or was it Uncanny X-Men? But there was this one cover he did that had Jean Grey like screaming in the background, and it was very cartoony, and it was just really cool. I'll never forget that cover. Stunned or disappointed, says Antoine. I know you're talking about Rob Liefeld, Antoine. I'll take it. I'll take my lumps. But yes, and check out Inglorious Rex 3, which is a huge smash hit. Could not be happier for Shane, Yanzi, and Little Terry, and trains everywhere. I'm so glad that people are getting addicted to trains. It needs to happen. Yeah, where is Rocky? He's probably having some nice downtime with the family, because both of us have got kids home from their first year of school. So, that's, if we've disappeared, that's probably why, because we've been missing those little guys, or those big guys now. But it's, you used to date Wils's sister-in-law? You can't be serious. Are you serious, Antoine? I feel like you've mentioned this before. Is that true, or are you pulling my leg? But yes, he did X Factor right before the big shake up. Shack up would be a different thing. That's when Adjectiveless X-Men and X-Force launched. There you go. Yes, Eric. See, you guys know. But Wills, I always like when people cite Wills as an influence, because I think that, if there's somebody I'd love to see do a godlike cover, it would be Wills. I think that one of the best covers I've ever seen in Comicsgate. Yes, you're serious. That's right. You did mention that before, Antoine. You did mention that before. Yeah, Wills is just such a brilliant artist, man. I thought you'd mentioned that before. But I would love to see Wills do a godlike cover, and I think one of the best covers I've seen in Comicsgate, period, is Jay Lee's CYBERFROG cover. Jay Lee just hit it out of the park with that. Yes, there's some wild connections, guys. Dan Lawless was around the block from me when I was growing up in Grosse Pointe Woods. I mean, Andy Smith did the cover of my first professional job back in 1994. I mean, it's nuts how everything just sort of lines up. Crazy, but I love it, man. I love this stuff. But yeah, there's some seriously cool stuff going on, and I'm excited. I'm ready for all of it. It's I've been reading Monster Island and getting into that. Love Graham's stuff. He's a fellow monster kid, thank God. We need more monster kids, man. We need more monster kids. Hopefully you guys are all subscribed to Graham's channel. I'm gonna have him on this channel. I keep saying that, and we keep reaching out to each other, but it's like with the holidays, everything gets nuts. But I do want to have Graham on this channel because he's a legend, man. I just love talking monsters with that guy. I could talk monsters with that guy all day. He's just a true blue monster kid. And he's just like me. He wants to keep carry the torch for all of these great monsters. That's why, Nosfero has elements of the universal monsters as much as it has Lovecraft and everything else. All of it, it's like the Halloween kids. It's like Aaron Lepresti and me when we were talking about, monster cereal and all that stuff. Craziness. It's really great to share that stuff with folks who are passionate and find people. It's what C.S. Lewis said about the Inklings, finding people who have some inkling of what it is your interests are. I got to this point where I had my career as a college professor all, mapped out and all secured and everything like that. And in some regards, some would say. I know a lot of people are having a really tough time in that space, not unlike Jordan Peterson and the stuff I went through and all just the nonsense that goes on. But you get to a point to where if you're not around people that you're excited about, it's not worth it. Oh, it's opaque watercolor. Got you. Thank you so much. Yes, it is opaque watercolor. Let me just see here. Where is it? Yes. Is this watercolor or gouache? So this is opaque watercolor with a tube of white gouache. So I add a little bit of Winsor Newton zinc white gouache to the Pelican opaque watercolor sets I use, which are right here. And the brand is Pelican. You can see it right there on the upside down right there. So yeah, it's and I may have a video somewhere on here where I talk about my process just a little bit on this channel. I don't know where it is at this point, but yeah, I mean it's there's so much. What we see here. Thanks. Oops, says Antoine Dennison. What did you do, Antoine? You dated his sister-in-law. His brother must have been. That's right. That's right. That's fine, Antoine. I do use acrylics sometimes. Yeah, I do use acrylics. Squishy, that looks awesome, Sean. Thank you, Squishy. I appreciate it so much. But yeah, I mean, it's. I think I'm doing I know I'm doing some of the best work of my career, but I think I'm doing some of the most beautiful comics being made today, guys. And I appreciate you guys so much for your support. I cannot overstate that. You can get the second printing and this first printing, by the way, of Nosfero the Crypt Walker. The link is at the top of the chat, as well as a bunch of other great comics I've got links for. I know that, and I've got to get the link in the description here. That's what I meant. All the links are in the description. But I got to get the link for Art T. Bear's Black and White Volume 3, Sins of the Father. That is also available right now. The CYBERFROG Warts and All Ultimate Super Mega Collection with a beautiful new cover by Ethan is available right now. Let's see. I know Mandy's closed and is shipping Super Dead, which has got a Dale Keown backup story in it and just kind of expanding out what she's doing. Shane's still got Inglorious Rex 3. Make sure you back that. Oh, gosh. Let me see. What are all the great books that are out there right now? Help me, guys. Help me, chat. Any of my mods, if there's a book that's out right now that you're a big fan of that's happening in this space, drop a link in the chat. I've got my own links in the description right there. And thank you, our couples. I really do appreciate that. Let me just think of some of the cool... I know there's a ton of cool stuff. Monster Island is out by Graham Nolan. That link I know is in the description. I think you can still get the Lucent. I think you can still get Battlebrick Road on battlebrickroad.com. I think you can... that some of the tiers are gone, but I think you can still get that. Let me think of all of the books that are going on right now. You guys know. Wraith of God 3, sign up for that, which is going to be a Sleepy Hollow thing. Wraith 3, no, Wraith 3 is, the campaign is live, right, for Wraith 3? Or is it just sign up? Guys, you can tell. Oh yes, Vaughn has the new Monster MD edition. Yes, indeed, Vaughn Klaus. Oh my gosh, yes, and I want to share that with you guys. Hang on a second here. Oh, Mr. Monkey Boy 1969 is here. Nosfero is pretty cool. Thank you so much, Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. I appreciate it. I was just looking at this the other day. Here's a painting I definitely have got to sell at some point soon. So, this is the pinup I did for John Malin's Vision book that has, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking on her name. Heidi from Monster MD. Very inspired by a 1980s California Girls poster, and of course a little bit of Basil Gogos. So that right there is one of the many fun paintings and things I've done in Comicsgate. So yeah, so lots of cool stuff going on, guys. Let's see what else. There's more stuff being launched. Wraith 3 is funding. That's right. Wraith 3 is funding. And I don't have a link for that in the description. Yes, Live Fear Hollow. Yeah, live Fear Hollow. Live. Oh my God, guys. My reading comp is falling off. I apologize. So yes, indeed. Thank you, Lord Hinson. I hope you like that painting. So yes, check it out. Thank you so much for dropping that link, Eric Cuffles. You're doing heroes work today. And I am missing Stephen Rockwood. He would be proud. He would. That's for Stephen Rockwood, those boobs are. Wraith of God 3, Fear Hollow by Aaron Lopresti. The Wraith fights the Headless Horseman. what's better than that, guys? I'm a massive, massive fan of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I have a leather-bound copy of it next to me at all times with illustrations by the great Arthur Rackham. So I'm a massive, massive fan of that story. I have my own sort of headless character that I'm going to be doing at some point called the Headless Woodsman, and it's not related to that, but it's a really fun story, and I'm looking forward to doing it. So Aaron is like cut from a similar cloth that I am, and I love that about him. So yes, check it out, guys. All right, gang, we're almost at 3 hours. Is that enough streaming for you guys on a Saturday? Thank you guys so much for being here, and I have enjoyed having you guys. I want all of you guys to get yourselves a wonderful dinner, depending on what time zone you're living in. I want all of you guys to have a wonderful rest of the day. I've really enjoyed streaming with you guys today. I've missed it. And we just needed to touch base in the middle of the holidays, right? And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I could see all of you guys. I'm so grateful this year for Comicsgate. I'm grateful to Ethan for all of the support that I've gotten this year from him. There's a lot of stuff sometimes that happens that people don't see, and Ethan offered me some very, very kind words at a very tough time, and I'm very grateful to him for that. I'm grateful to John for getting to work with him on the logo stuff for Godlike and all the laughs I've had with Shane Davis, and I'm grateful to be able to be painting and hanging out with Eric Weathers and all of you guys in the chat. Who else have I got? I've gotten a chance to get to know Mandy a little bit better in terms of on streams, and that's been a lot of fun. And just there's so many people, man, so many people I've met, and especially you guys who hang out here on Science Enjeti Art. I am grateful every single day for you guys, and that I get to share this stuff with you. And I got to make sure that I close by saying how thrilled I was to get this Christmas present from my daughter of Nosfero live in 3D crocheted. And there will be another Pizza Live coming soon, Lauren Hitson, I promise. And I'm so grateful for this. So I've just updated the credits before I went live. If you're a new subscriber, I will have your names in the credits. I also want to give a quick, sorry guys, I'm going to run right into the camera. A thank you to my son, who I went to go see this right here. The sticker's still fresh. Went to go see a talk with Jordan Peterson, and he bought me for Christmas We Who Wrestle with God, this book right here, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you guys, and of course Mrs. Enjeti, without which none of this would be possible. And yes, bow to Little Miss E, people are saying in the chat, indeed, indeed. But I will see you guys soon. As I always like to say, from the heart of Lovecraft Country, in the birthplace of American religious liberty, my name is Shanth Enjeti. This is Shanth Enjeti Art, and I want to thank you guys for being here. So speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and peace be with you guys. I appreciate you. So everybody take care and enjoy seeing your names in the credits, all my channel members. I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so, so much. And have a wonderful, wonderful Hail the Enjetress. Indeed, indeed. I like that. That's a good nickname as well. Thank you guys so much. I will see you soon. Take care, guys.